All right. Hello and welcome to Cal Anime Podcast. My name is Nicholas Wonosaptra, and I am your Cal Anime Alpha president. And today I'm joined with who wants to go next?
So I'm Felix, and I'm a writer at Konshu. I've been on this podcast before, but I'm glad to be back.
I'm Mitch Wadayag. I am the Khonshu head, and this is actually my first podcast, so I'm happy to be here with you all.
And hey guys, I'm Tomas, and I'm an officer in the event section of the club. And this is my second episode, so I'm glad to be back.
And we are glad to have everyone here to talk about E3, and then we'll be talking about some more specific stuff regarding Nintendo and Smash. So let's just get started with E3 and all the different things that are going to be happening throughout this kind of digital version of the event. Starting with the first day, we'll be seeing on Saturday, June 12th, Ubisoft and Gearbox Entertainment, along with a session of GamesBeat. Now, is there anything that you guys are interested in when it comes to Ubisoft and Gearbox?
Man, Ubisoft hasn't made a very striking game for me in a very long time. Yeah, I was a fan of their original Assassin's Creed, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs was pretty interesting, but ended up not being the hit that many people were expecting. So yeah, I don't know. Personally, I guess I'm not too interested in like what Ubisoft and Gearbox have to offer on this day. But I don't know, Mitch, Felix.
I know, like a new Far Cry game was announced a few years back, I think.
Oh yeah,
But there's no info on that, so we might see some info this time. But I haven't really played any Far Cry, so I don't know. But I know there's some expectations for that. But yeah, other than that, not much to expect from Ubisoft for me.
What has Gearbox done? Like, what's their big game?
Is it Titanfall?
I think that's Respawn.
that's Respawn.
Oops.
Yeah, I was looking up Gearbox earlier, but other than like Duke Nukem, I don't know.
They did Borderlands.
Oh, Borderlands, right? Yeah.
Okay. They recently released Borderlands 3, right? So I don't think they've got anything huge coming up. I don't think.
Yeah, although them being here at E3 might mean that they have something. So, but again, I still don't really know. I'm not too familiar with their work as maybe some other people would be. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but for both of these studios, like I'm not too big of a fan of their latest works. They're just like in very copy paste-ish AAA titles.
Yeah.
I might have triggered a few people with Borderlands
just a
3,
few.
but
I mean, yeah, I
don't
do
know.
really enjoy the Assassin's Creed, especially like how they make the ancient worlds and everything. But yeah, other than that, not a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, can say a lot about Assassin's Creed, but they put quite a bit of work into the worlds that they make. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but I saw Gordone playing the
Valhalla.
latest Assassin's Creed,
Yes.
Valhalla, right?
Yes,
It
was like
and
buggy.
man, the gameplay was not very fun. A lot of the side quests were super repetitive, which is like the main problem the game franchise has had for the past like 3 installments.
I mean,
so,
like, yeah,
I don't know. They got to step it up.
I mean, for me, Origins and Odyssey had like real interesting worlds, like Egypt and ancient Greece. Those are quite interesting. But yeah, not that interested in like the Viking aspect of Valhalla. So I don't know.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
next on the E3 roster?
yeah. So we can stop beating up Ubisoft now, and we can move on to Microsoft. All right. So Xbox and Bethesda because of that recent acquisition. They're going to be having a games showcase
True.
starting on Sunday. So let's see.
Maybe some info on Halo, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the new Halo. We were expecting that to be a Series X like launch title, which did not happen. Now we're hoping to see a lot more with that title. Again, I don't really
That's a
know.
good point. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Xbox just doesn't really have anything big right now. So I think this E3 is probably going to be pretty big for Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a Fallout, yeah, with Bethesda. I mean, after 76
Yikes,
though.
after the 76, yeah, they really need something
Yeah.
strong.
They need to.
Well, I mean, they haven't even announced a new Fallout, but they have announced that they're working on the next Elder Scrolls after Skyrim. So
Yeah, true. They're probably
yeah,
going to have more info on that. I'm really looking forward to something they announced like 2 years ago. And they only announced a 30-second trailer for a game
Yeah.
called Starfield.
Starfield.
Oh yeah.
And it looks so cool. It looks so cool, but there's no gameplay. There's no information other than like a satellite going into warp drive or something like that. Just that visual is so cool. So
Yeah, and
I'm
you
hyped
know,
for more information.
like I don't know, because they're probably going to be using the same engine that they use for like every other game that they've made for Starfield. I don't know if
I mean, yeah, probably. But Unreal Engine, the newest Unreal Engine came out very recently. So they might be using that.
I mean, I hope so, because I feel like they've been using the same engine for like all of their games in the
Forever.
past few decades, I guess. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
been kind of ridiculous and it's been buggy as hell. So
Yeah.
the hope is
Okay.
that they've learned something and have either upgraded that engine or they've replaced it altogether for the newer games. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, honestly, I do hope for that because after 76, I really hope they're like, okay, yeah, we fucked up so big, we kind of need to make some really big changes. Yeah, so I'm I'm a slight fanboy for Bethesda, but like they just need to capture my heart back.
Yeah,
Because they
definitely.
failed me with Fallout. I don't really care too much about Fallout, so I didn't buy it or anything. But it was just such a surprising, like disgraceful game that a lot of people, including myself, just kind of lost interest in Bethesda.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
there's
like you said, now they're teamed up with Microsoft, so they have the money to do whatever they want to do.
yeah, the money and like a lot more support at least from outside sources than just Bethesda themselves. So maybe someone convinced them like to change up a few things, and hopefully Todd is not going to continue his rampage throughout Bethesda's um, game gallery. But other than that, there is a little bit more to Bethesda than just the main studio that we're thinking of when it comes to Fallout and Elder Scrolls. There's also the people that make Doom, and there is also Tango Gameworks. I kind of forgot all the things that go
True.
along with Bethesda. So let's see.
Yeah, Doom, solid game. What a Doom Eternal, what a great game. So I know they're releasing DLCs. They might release like the next chapter of the DLC alongside E3. That's maybe a possibility. Because I think they're on the second out of 4. Something like that. So that would be really cool. Yeah, but if anyone listening has not played Doom Eternal and you have a console or a PC that can play it, that is such a great game. And the soundtrack is also really good.
Yeah. Although it makes me a little bit sad when we talk about the soundtrack because it sounds like the
Gordon.
composer,
Yeah.
Mick Gordon's not going to be there for the next one. But for the time
Yeah.
being, at least, we still have Eternal. And yeah, we'll see what comes about there. I'm really excited to see more of Doom Eternal. So Actually, has it come to the Switch yet? I don't remember.
I doubt it.
Because I remember that they wanted it to be on Switch for a long time, and I don't know if it's actually
I don't think
gone onto the
that's
console
really
yet.
possible. I know
Oh wait, it is. Doom Eternal is on the Switch. I'm
it
pretty sure.
is.
Yeah, it's listed for being on Switch. I just don't know if it's on
That's-
it yet, because I know that they were spending a lot of time like working on it.
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder how it runs.
Yeah. Okay. It is listed.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And does anyone on this panel know anything about good old Tango Gameworks, the people behind Evil Within?
Okay. I've heard Evil Within. Nothing else.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I believe Shinji Mikami is the what is he actually? I
Director.
forgot.
Yeah.
Director? No,
Yes.
well, he's the director for Evil Within 1, and then I don't remember what position he's in now for the for Tango Gameworks. But
Apparently, there's
producer.
something listed on their Wikipedia for 2021, which is Ghostwire Tokyo.
That's right. So Ghostwire Tokyo is their new game that they unveiled, I think, 2 E3s ago. Or no, I guess that would just be last E3 since there wasn't one last year. But yeah, they had their creative director go on stage and everyone loved her. It was great. But I still don't really know too much about what the game is about. And it seems like it's a lot more of an action kind of supernatural action game. I don't really know much else other than that. First person doesn't really seem to be an emphasis on horror, unlike Evil Within 2 and 1. So I don't know. I'm excited to see a bit more of what they have in store. But I also am looking forward to if they have any announcements regarding Evil Within at all, because I really like 2, probably one of my favorite games. So yeah.
Really, I haven't seen much about Evil Within 1 or 2.
Yeah. Evil Within 1 was definitely something that a lot of people were looking forward to because they were hoping that Shinji Mikami could make a new Resident Evil kind of esque game that was a lot more Resident Evil than the newer like games in the franchise. So they were like, ooh, Evil Within 1 looks a lot more like Resident Evil 4 and maybe like the earlier ones and has a bit of like Silent Hill in there. But yeah,
Okay, I see.
it ended up not getting the praise that a lot of people were expecting. And so it just kind of fell by the wayside. And Evil Within 2 ended up being a really solid game with a really strong story. So I think um, it just ended up being a lot more underappreciated because of the first game, basically.
Is it like a continuation or is it just an independent news story?
Yeah, it's a continuation of the last story, but the main thing is the main character of the last story didn't really have a strong like personal story that was going throughout that game. So this second game would focus a lot more on his story, his like motivations, and so it was a little bit more personable, I guess,
Okay, that's
narratively.
cool.
But
I'll take a look at it
yeah.
because I want to play something this summer, and I have nothing in mind. So
Yeah, and that said, like Evil Within 1 is still pretty interesting and it's still pretty good. It just kind of depends on what kind of story you're looking for and the kind of general tone, I guess, because they are kind of two different games. So yeah. But now that we've talked a bit about Bethesda and a bit about Xbox, Square Enix.
All right, so Square Enix has this game, or they announced what they were going to talk about, like some of the things, and we're gonna get an update on Babylon's Fall, which is which is made by Platinum Games, which is so the guys behind Nier Automata,
yes,
Bayonetta, And from the trailer, there was a trailer like 1 year ago or two, and it looks pretty cool. So that might be exciting.
Yeah, that is something I'm looking forward to. Platinum Games always makes really good stuff. Near Automata is my favorite game, so I guess that makes Platinum Games my favorite studio. Um, but yeah, Square Enix is so large, so they can announce basically anything they want: mobile game, PC game, PlayStation game. I'm guessing they're gonna probably do some Final Fantasy stuff, and maybe some near reincarnation stuff for like North America.
Yeah. So
Oh, worldwide release, are we thinking?
Yeah, because I saw that they released on their Twitter a like an opt-in for just the Western release of the mobile game.
Oh,
So
okay.
so that they might have more info on that.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it-
definitely looking forward to that because, like, apparently, I don't know, Yoko Taro says that it's pretty important to the Nier franchise, and it's basically Nier 3. So it's like, I don't know how important this is going to be, but I guess I'll be there for it.
and speaking of Yoko Taro, he also talked like during a live stream for Near Replicant, not sure when, about a new game that he was working on that he apparently couldn't even begin to describe and that he has no idea how to sell. So
Yeah,
if
I
it's weird
remember
by
that.
so if it's weird by Yoko Taro standards, it might be kind of weird. So we might have some info on that. And yeah, it also looks like the Square Enix stream will have info on a Marvel game and a Life is Strange game. But I'm personally not too interested in those, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
When you say Marvel game, are you talking about the
Marvel,
Avengers game or like something else
Marvel,
from the?
Marvel's Avengers expansion, Black Panther.
Mm,
So yeah, it's an expansion.
okay, yeah, heard a bit about that. I'm not too interested in that game. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, me neither.
I've seen
Not
it
either.
and I'm not too interested.
Gotcha. And then, sorry, what was the other thing that? Oh yeah, Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, I mean, cool. Wait, did the new Life is Strange come out, or is that something that they're working on and they're gonna
I
like
think
talk about?
there's two things. There's like Life is Strange True Colors and a remastered or a remastered collection that they're going to release also.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Life is Strange is still Square Enix.
Publisher, like Square Enix as a publisher, I think.
Okay, what's the actual
Developers,
developer? Yeah.
I don't know.
It's Deck 9. Mm, Yeah.
Don't know what that is. Kind of impressed that Square Enix published that
Um,
game.
Well, I mean, Square
Pretty unique
Enix
for them.
just like publishes a lot of games.
Yeah, they publish a lot of games, but they
Yeah.
publish a lot of Japanese games.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
kind of weird that seems like a super Western type of game that they would not really be too involved with, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty cool that they are the publishers. My problem with
And
Square Enix is that they do too much JRPGs, and I'm not a big fan of JRPG.
gotcha.
So when they released Automata, that was pretty cool. If you go on their website, like all of their franchises are JRPG.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically kind of what they're known for. But
Yeah.
kind of talking about JRPGs, do you think we'll get some more news on Project Triangle Strategy, or would that fall under Nintendo's
right.
domain?
Maybe in the Nintendo E3,
Yeah.
they might finally drop the title.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope it's not Triangle Strategy. That's all I hope. Because the last time this happened, they had Octopath Traveler, and they were like, "Oh, this is a temporary name, guys." Ended up not being temporary. So, yeah, well, we'll see. Triangle Strategy could be an interesting selling name point. We'll see. But
Triangle strategy game, the number
mean-
one triangle strategy game.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of the demo and I was like pretty impressed with it. The main issues with that game is like the camera. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty interested to see how it turns out. I don't know if the demo really like pushed me either way as to like being interested in the game, like interested in buying the game. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting and seeing what we're gonna be seeing more about that game. Yeah. Um Other than that, though, we did mention Final Fantasy earlier. Are we thinking Final Fantasy 16 is going to be showing up?
And what don't you think Final Fantasy, what is it, 7 Part 2?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have some work to do on the remaster.
Yeah. So I
Mhm.
think that's probably gonna be
their priority. Yeah.
their main thing.
Yeah, and do we think that like it's going to be a huge trailer that's going to be announcing that hey, part 2 is coming, or is it more like maybe someone's going to show up to the screen and just say we're still working on part 2?
Like the Zelda move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Zelda
no
move.
announcements. We're still
Aonuma.
working. I know. I do think there probably will be a trailer of some sorts, just because it's been long enough for them to actually have developed stuff for it.
I mean, but has it really been long enough? Because like the DLC for part 1, the one that was including Yuffie, um, just released, right? Like a couple months ago, and that was like the PS5 like expansion version of the game or something.
Would it? Okay. I'm not sure then. But isn't Yuffie part like directly tied with part 2?
Yeah,
So
she
it
is.
might
So
have been like, okay, yeah, here, take the DLC. This is kind of like a sneak peek of part 2, possibly. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not. I'm not too well versed with Final Fantasy.
mm,
But yeah, I don't think it would be a bad move for them to do it now. At least just like a release trailer or
well, I
something
mean,
like that.
yeah, it wouldn't be a bad move. I feel like anything related to FF7 is going to be a good move. The issue is
Yeah.
like, are they ready to show us anything? And I personally don't think they are. So that's why I'm thinking they might show us a lot more about 16, which seems to be farther into development than like part 2 would be, I think.
Maybe, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to see a lot more of part of 16 just because we saw snippets of its gameplay and it looks pretty interesting. It looks kind of Souls-like almost, but it's way too early to say any of that. So it's just more of an aesthetic kind of like, dang, that looks pretty
Strand
cool.
type game.
Yeah. And
Um,
soundtrack sounds amazing already. So hoping to see more of that or hear more of that.
yeah, yeah. Soundtracks, Square Enix has that down flat. If anything is announced related to like maybe a replicant DLC, because they
Mm,
already added new story to replicant.
yeah, ending E.
Yeah. So they could possibly add maybe a DLC there too.
Yeah,
Just since
but
it's so soon after the release of the game, I think timing wise, there's no evidence for it, but just timing wise, it would be really convenient.
yeah, although I'm wondering if we're being a little biased because we're all Yoko Taro fans here. So, but yeah, I mean, what kind of DLC could Near Replicant even have? Just it can't really be story, I feel like, because they already added ending E, and it seems to be
Yeah.
a pretty satisfying ending.
Honestly, anything with Devil and Popula, that's a possibility.
Ooh, yeah, true. What are we thinking though? A text adventure? Hey guys, here's your DLC.
Okay, I don't want to go too far into spoilers, and
Yeah,
I
true.
still haven't played Replicant. But in the ending C of Automata, we see a lot more about Devil and Popula and their backstory. But it's all
Yeah.
like text based and very few images and very few well, very little information is really given. So if that's added as a DLC, I could totally see that fitting both chronologically and like as a good bookmark in between Replicant and Automata.
Gotcha. Although, well, yeah, to talk about that further, we would have to go into spoilers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, yeah, I could sort of see that. I don't know when it comes to Replicant, though, because I don't think they do that. But who knows?
We'll see. I should play
Yeah.
the game before I talk about DLC speculation.
We can have another episode entirely dedicated to like Nier, just Drakengard and Nier, all of that. We'll
All
just
that good stuff.
Oh my god. Okay, anything else from Square Enix that we're thinking about that we're hoping for?
I want them to release more White Snow boxes for Replicant. That's like the collector's edition of the game. Dude, I missed out on the pre-order, so I never
Oh
got one.
no.
That's why I haven't played it yet. I'm hoping, praying that they release more.
Oh my god, man. I'm praying for you. I want to see that box for myself, so we'll see.
Dude, I just want Okawa Keiichi's music in my hands. I just want those CDs.
Who doesn't? Yeah. So, past Square Enix, let's see. Warner Bros. Games, Back for Blood, and 24 Entertainment. I don't really know much about those studios.
Yeah, me
so
neither.
Does Warner Bros. Games have anything to do with like the Batman Arkham series?
I don't even remember.
I've-
It's been
I
such a
have no clue.
long time since
Yeah.
I've seen that like franchise or series of games be even relevant. Let's see. Yeah, Batman Arkham.
That is
and-
Warner.
Yeah, Warner Bros. And they're also famous for Fear, Injustice. Wait, Mortal Kombat? Are they? Wait,
Really, Mortal Kombat too?
I guess they like
Oh,
helped
yeah.
with.
I think they
Wait,
worked
I'm confused.
on Hitman too.
Ooh, Hitman.
Yeah.
That could be something. Okay, like honestly, not they don't do much, so it could just be like some Batman game. I don't know.
Some Batman game. Well, I mean,
some superhero game or whatnot. I don't know what else they have that they could sell as a video game.
okay, hang on. I think they're also
Injustice?
famous for Lego.
Yeah, they did a
Games.
lot of Lego games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at their list now. Okay, yeah.
Oh, and
I'm
they
so
did
confused by
Middle
that.
Earth: Shadow of Mordor with Monolith
Ooh,
Productions.
okay. Okay, they have more stuff than I
Yeah,
thought
they
they
have
did.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff.
And those are all pretty strong game franchises.
Mm.
So, okay, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, yeah. So Warner Bros. Wait, I'm so confused. So Warner Bros. Games is are they a development studio or are they a publisher?
I believe they are
Both.
a publisher.
But
Yeah, they're a
they mostly
publisher, okay.
publish.
Yeah. So yeah, IO Interactive would be under them, and they work on Hitman, so on and so forth. Oh yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is the thing that is happening. Other than that, I don't know much about Back for Blood. Yeah,
They publish Mortal Kombat games too, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah,
So
Mortal
that's why I was
Kombat.
like confused. I was like, wait, these people are developers or they're publishers? So Mortal Kombat, very nice.
But yeah, I don't expect any like big news from them, like personally. So
Yeah. Ooh, Westworld. I forgot about that. So they definitely have games that they're going to be talking about, but it sounds like I guess we don't really know too much about those
Yeah.
games. So speaking of which, next day we've got Mythical Games, Freedom Games, and Razer. And then there is Capcom. So, but first, before we tackle Capcom, Mythical, Freedom, and Razer, do we have any like interesting thoughts on those? I don't even know.
Mythical, no clue who they are. Freedom
Yeah.
Games, no clue who they are. Razer, we know who they are, but they don't really release video games. So
Yeah, they're just gonna be like, hey, we got a new gaming setup for you guys.
Yeah, I think most of these are like companies that do ports and reprints of old and classic games. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not expecting much at all on that front, to be fully honest.
Yeah. So we do have Capcom though. So how big of Capcom fans are we? Because I know I am.
I'm a pretty big fan of the Capcom fighting games. So like Street Fighter,
Gotcha.
Marvel vs.
Mhm.
Capcom. I know Street Fighter 5 still has some DLC coming along with a few more characters to be announced. Not sure if they'll announce one then.
Okay, gotcha.
I
And
like Monster Hunter. Haven't played Resident Evil though. I know a lot of people like those. So
gotcha. And they just released the latest Monster Hunter,
yeah, they
so
did.
they
I
might.
didn't get it. I'm still on the world
Yeah,
for now. So.
gotcha. Does Monster Hunter usually have like DLC or anything?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Their current game is like completely based off of DLC. So it's supposed to be a game that you can come back to every 3 months,
Mhm.
and there's gonna be something new you can play.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
But they
that's
just
pretty
released a
exciting.
DLC like very recently.
Okay.
So
I mean,
and
they
they
could
also just
announce the next
released
thing.
yeah, probably that's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. But they also just released Resident Evil Village, so
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, they've done a lot already in the past like 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I get
really love Resident Evil Village. But yeah, I'm hoping for some DLC to that game, but I don't, it's been so soon since it released, so it'd be pretty weird for them to be like, hey, there's DLC, so I don't know. Of course,
I
they're
don't know.
also Devil May Cry fame, so
Oh yeah, I forgot they were part of that.
DMC6,
something.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since their latest DLC with Virgil came out, but I also don't know if they're gonna be like adding anything more to that to 5. But at the same time, announcing 6 would be pretty wild. So
Do they still
any
make Mega Man games?
yes, they do. But I don't know if they're being super on top of Mega Man right now.
I feel like not, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of been a declining franchise.
Yeah. Devil May Cry is maybe something they could work with, but I feel like it's probably going to be another fighting game, and not Devil May Cry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with that because Devil May Cry historically just seems to be a franchise that needs some time in between its games. So
Yeah.
yeah, we could see a lot more from Capcom in the fighting game department, which I think that Mitch
They
would be
always
happy
have
with.
For sure.
Yeah. So
What's this Take-Two interactive thing?
Take-Two Interactive is just gonna make sure that I know for sure what they do before I say anything. All right, so Take-Two is our good old Rockstar Games and 2K.
Hmm.
So Rockstar and 2K,
Okay.
what are we expecting here?
2K does like the sport games, right?
Yeah, a lot
Not
of sports
FIFA though.
games. Yeah, they do a little bit more than sport games though. They also do let me
Honestly, they could just release like the next
Yeah,
the next
they've
sport.
done XCOM 2, I think.
Yeah, they do XCOM, and I think I heard something about some franchise is going to get like an XCOM kind of collaboration game or some kind of like pseudo XCOM game. I don't know. I just randomly saw that on the internet, so I can't speak to what it is. But
Yeah,
it sounds like XCOM, the XCOM team has something that they're preparing for.
Okay, that would be cool. I know XCOM is huge in the turn-based strategy game world. I haven't played any of their games, but it honestly looks pretty fun. I've been thinking about playing it for a very long time.
And I think they also like publish Gearbox software games, so like Borderlands, but there's already a Gearbox software event, I think, so
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we'll see any of those in this announcement.
they have quite a bit that they could say, but I don't know much about them either, nor of what they've released recently or what they might be able to release.
Yeah, I mean, I know of them for the Mafia games as well, and Civilization.
Oh, they made Civ. Okay.
Yeah, they make Civ. So, they've been on 6 for a while now.
They have been.
I
The
don't.
creator of Civ though went ahead and like made his own game, right?
Oh,
Similar
did he?
to Civ. I think they announced it 2 E3s ago as well. Or
Okay.
no, I think it was last year's Game Awards. It's called like Humans or something like that.
Oh, okay. I sort of think I remember what you're talking about. Is it that game that was like it kind of looked like
Humankind.
Trojan War, kind of like some kind of Trojan War game. I don't know.
It's called Humankind.
Oh, Humankind. Okay.
I mean they're not related to the studio, but
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the studio is probably not going to talk about that, but
yeah, I don't know. It would kind of be weird if the creator left to
and
make
they
his
made
own game
7.
and then they release a new Civ.
Yeah. Well,
But hey, if it makes money, they'll do it.
I mean, that's just how it is. Well, other than 2K, of course, there is Rockstar.
Yeah.
So
Well, behind GTA,
The new Grand
Red
Theft
Dead.
Auto,
Yeah.
finally.
About
finally.
I think that's one everyone wants, but let's be real here. I don't think they're gonna announce it.
I
We
don't
never
think so
know.
either.
Just all reliable
I mean, you
every
never
single
know.
time.
It's
I mean, come on. Even Elder Scrolls 6 is happening. So we're moving past Skyrim now. We got to move past GTA 5. Someone's going to move it a little
It's
bit
not
further
gonna
down
happen.
the
It's not gonna happen. They're gonna rely on GTA 5 for so many years.
well, they're even working on the port to Xbox S, X, and S. So
Oh
in
my god.
2021. So for
Yeah, that's
GTA
right.
5. Well,
Yeah, that's a good point. I really don't think they're gonna release something new. And I doubt there's gonna be Red Dead 3 so soon. I highly doubt that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they can do. Maybe more DLC. Probably more DLC for GTA 5. More heists.
Even more.
Yep. You gotta
To make
hope.
the
It's just
game
that
even
people
bigger
still
than
play it. So
Yeah.
like why even make a new game, right?
I guess so.
the year is 2040, and GTA 5 is now 1-to-1 scale with the real world.
They just add new DLCs that retexture every skin in the game.
It's practically a new game. All right. Well, let's see. The other thing on Monday is like Verizon and television will also have like events along with a session from Ven. Why is Verizon
yeah,
here?
They're gonna push 5G as like an alternative for fast internet to play video games. That's my bet.
Of course. I mean, yeah, they probably have to be here for something related to video games. I mean,
This is my prediction. They're gonna use PUBG Mobile as their main game and be like, yeah, 5G is the fastest wireless connection possible. Use Verizon, the largest network in the USA, to play PUBG Mobile wherever you want.
yes, PUBG anywhere, everywhere.
That's the only mobile game I can think of that actually needs like a strong, stable connection. But yeah, I have no idea why they might be talking here.
I mean, it's an electronics conference, so maybe they're just gonna be like, "Hey, we like video games too, guys." And I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds like their thing is gonna be short though, because it's not a press conference. At least like it's not next to everything else on that day. So
Yeah, it's just to be there. Just show
Yeah.
that they exist. That
yay.
they fast internet.
Yay, Verizon. This episode is not sponsored by Verizon, by the way.
Okay, so we're coming to the end, and instead of going, okay, we're not going to talk Nintendo just yet.
Bandai Namco first. I
Yes,
guess.
Bandai Namco, Tales of Arise. Is anyone else excited for that game? Because I know I am.
Nope.
Never heard of it.
I
so-
haven't played. Yeah.
You haven't played any Tales games?
No.
I gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I only recently just played Berseria, which was fun, and I do know that like there's Vesperia and like other games in the series that a little bit more famous and a little bit more
Yeah.
well renowned.
There's some games that look cool, yeah, in the Tales of. So
Yeah, Arise definitely caught my eye because it just doesn't look like a Tales game. It looks a lot more polished and a lot more.
Are you saying Tales games aren't polished?
No, I'm saying that they that they sometimes lacked a certain finesse, at least in my opinion.
That's a nice way to put it.
But yeah, I don't know. Basically, Tales of Arise looks like they suddenly went over to Square Enix and asked them, "How do you guys make Final Fantasy games?" And it looks like a Final Fantasy game, except I don't know, because I don't know anything about the game because they only released one teaser trailer. So I'm hoping that at least we can hear something more so that like I can form some kind of opinion on this game because I know that it looks good. But other than that, I don't know anything else about this game. So come on, Bandai Namco. Other than that, other than Tales,
They've
anything?
got Scarlet Nexus. I
Yeah.
just went to their website and saw pre-order now, so they must be talking about their next upcoming game.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I
that
don't know
Scarlet
anything
Nexus
about it.
hasn't come out yet.
yeah, they have a few titles in 2021, but I don't know what they could announce. I think it's mostly going to be like just showcasing stuff coming out this year. So
Yeah, that's probably the strongest possibility. I don't see them. Yeah, since they haven't released much, they've already announced a lot. They probably won't stack up the new announcements, is my guess.
Hmm.
Probably just release trailers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm. I'm trying to figure out who Eureka Games are. I can't find them. I don't know who they are. Eureka Studio, maybe, is what that's referring to.
Yeah, I can't find anything on them either.
Some kind of publisher, maybe. Streets of Rage. Wait, what?
I'm also now looking.
Streets
Eureka
of
Games.
Rage 4.
I see nothing amazing. Xuan Yuan Sword 7. Don't know what that is. I don't know where the previous 6 games are.
Yeah,
Their Twitter account got suspended.
I'm so
Okay.
confused. Okay, the more we look at this, the more confused we're gonna get. And we know what GameSpot is. That's not a game studio, so
Okay, I think Eureka is a Chinese studio, and that's why we don't really see much in
yeah,
our Google.
Yeah, they have a very small YouTube channel with like 15 subscribers. They made like Island of Deception. I don't know the game, so
mm,
doesn't
Okay,
look
I'm
very
guessing they're
famous.
big in China.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
guess.
yeah, I imagine so. So other than that, okay,
That's
now we
weird,
can
though.
get into Nintendo, I think.
The real meat and
Yes.
bones.
Okay, so hopefully we can put like a link in the some kind of segmented version of this episode so that people can get right to Nintendo, because that is what we're all about. So where do we even start with Nintendo?
I think we got to start with if there's gonna be the new Switch Pro being announced. That's
Yeah.
like gonna be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think the Switch Pro is well practically confirmed at this point.
Mhm.
It looks though like they aren't going to talk about it. I think they want to focus only on Switch software rather than
Mhm.
hardware. So I don't think they're going to talk about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like
what.
a lot of the rumors were about them like talking about it before E3. So
Yeah.
you're saying that they're not even gonna like announce
Well,
it at all?
some articles that I've found just suggest that they really only want to talk about like
Games.
software and introduce new
Yeah.
studios and stuff like that. So
So if
but
not
we'll see.
now, like when would they announce that? Like I
Yeah.
feel like the timing is kind of good at the moment. Um, instead of waiting until like next year or so.
Yeah,
Actually, I
because
think the timing's kind of bad since
Oh, you
people
think
are
so?
still fighting over
PS5s.
Xbox and
Oh,
Yeah.
PlayStation 5s. Since there's shortages, I think they're probably gonna wait until that's kind of resolved. And since there is a like massive silicon chip shortage, they might just wait until that's kind of alleviated a bit. But I
True.
honestly don't see that happening in the next year or two.
But yeah, if they want to make this holiday season though, and sell a lot of their like pros,
yeah, they could like introduce the Pro and some big titles that could come with it, or like enhanced games.
yeah, that
With
would
the
be
new
ideally
hardware.
what they do.
Yeah.
The only question is if like Nintendo feels like they're ready to do that, because like you said, there's a chip shortage right now. There's a lot of things like just a lot of shortages all around when it comes to hardware. So Nintendo could possibly push that back another year, but that is kind of
That's a lot.
another risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But yeah,
I think,
one thing's
yeah,
for
I
sure,
think they'll
like
show
we're
it.
going to see some games that are
Yeah.
probably made for the Pro. That's for sure. Like,
Mm.
not exclusive, of course, but like games that are made to perform extremely well on the Pro. I think,
Yeah.
well, timing wise, that would make sense for them. So we might see some
Like,
big
what do you
titles.
think? Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah, because it ran pretty poorly when it first came out. Like the
Mhm.
grass textures really lagged the game.
Or are they going to use the Pro as an excuse to make the normal Switch version not like even better optimized than that or something? I doubt that they would, but yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know if
right now
that'll
the
be.
current version runs fine, right? So it's
Yeah.
just kind of optimize the code a bit more. But I'm guessing the next one's
I don't
how
know
long
they would
ago did
design the next one as like something that's meant to be on Pro, though, is what I'm saying. So I think it's just going to be like mainly designed for Switch, and then the Pro is just going to add even better performance to like
Probably
the game.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah. Like they're probably just gonna use the same engine, very similar code, right? Because
Yeah,
why
exactly.
redo all of that for the Pro? Yeah, so it should probably run very, very similar to the current game, unless the
Yeah.
map is like 50 times larger.
Ooh.
I don't feel like they would. I think they got like a good setup with the current Land of Hyrule.
Yeah.
They can kind of reuse it, but of course change it up a bit.
That map's already pretty ridiculously big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there, like you could argue that they could fill in more spots maybe, and I think that that's something that they might do, like add more into the lands, but I doubt that they expand it like wider or something.
This may be a hot take, but I don't think it's gonna be the same map. I think it would be weird if the next large Zelda game has the same layout as the previous one, because there's
Mm,
been no other Zelda games like that. It's always been next major Zelda title, brand new map.
well, that's true for most Zelda games just because they're, well, actually, let me think about that.
They're all Hyrule, but they're different time periods, so it looks completely different.
Well, yeah, of course, but the issue is like this is a direct sequel, so the
Yeah.
only direct sequels that we can look at is really like Majora's Mask, which is a
And Ocarina of
different.
Time.
More like a different timeline.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'm trying to remember what assets they use because I know that they used a lot of character assets, a lot of like item assets, stuff like that. I don't.
Yeah, but
I,
the
the
map
map
was
is
different.
completely different. Yeah,
That's the thing. Like timeline wise, it is a direct sequel, not by name though.
right.
Um, and so is this one's gonna be a prequel? What was the idea behind it? They released the Heroes, which was a direct prequel.
Oh yeah,
okay.
the Warriors
So
games.
Warriors
Sorry,
game, yeah,
Warriors, not Heroes. Yeah.
the Warriors game, Age of Calamity is a prequel that kind of has an alternate timeline thing going on. So it's, well, I mean that's kind of a spoiler, but not really because you see at the very start of the game they kind of like spoil that anyway. But yeah, it's kind of a, the first part of the game is a prequel, and then there's that extra bit at the end that kind of closes out that storyline on its own. So there are certain things in that game that might be able to be transferred over to like Breath of the Wild 2's storyline or something. But yeah.
So we're thinking
kind
it's
of a
probably going to
different
be
thing.
a sequel, not a prequel.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
Definitely a sequel.
Yeah, it's definitely a sequel because we've already seen that in that teaser trailer.
Like Link and Zelda are together, or she has her short hair from the first game's
Yes, I'm
epilogue.
trying to think of other reasons why that might be. I think it's because the map shows that it's kind of, it's still the same map from Breath of the Wild as opposed to Age of Calamity, because Age of Calamity has like more human structures that are not ruins. They're like still well maintained. Whereas, yeah, it seems pretty clear that this is a sequel. Actually, I think they, even the text says that it's a sequel, doesn't it?
In
Something like
the
that.
first look trailer, it literally says trailer. So
Yeah, it
literally
literally
says sequel.
It literally says
it's a
sequel.
sequel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if they really want to change the map to make the game different, they'd have more I guess underground exploration, because like in the trailer they're like searching through some catacombs or something.
Yeah,
that is true just from the trailer, but I doubt Nintendo wants to force us to go underground, because I think they want us to be like, oh, look far out into the distance, look at those mountains that you can still climb.
Yeah,
but if you're
definitely.
underground, that is non-existent.
Yeah, that's a core part of like Breath of the Wild's identity. So it's kind of, it would be pretty off to have a sequel not.
I mean, they could just like use practically the same map if they like add dungeons or stuff like that. Just fill it with stuff to do.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what Mitch was getting at. So it would be a lot more just extra things that might have to do with underground exploration because they are dungeons.
I don't know. I don't like that idea. I
Right.
I'm sticking with my gut, which is entirely new map.
I mean, I'm thinking that they're gonna reuse the same map. They're just gonna like terraform it quite a bit because of the events that lead up it to the game. So um it could be like all the towns is still in their same spots or something. They might have been like changed throughout the years or something. And then the thing that with Ganon happens, then or the thing with Ganondorf, I guess, who that's not confirmed. I'm thinking
Get some form of
some
Ganon.
yeah, some form of Ganon. Something happens in that trailer, and then you see like the castle rising, and that could either mean they're going to space, which I don't think that's gonna happen. So
To the moon.
or
I mean, did you see the what was it, like Breath of the Wild, like really early concepts with the
yeah, with
UFOs?
aliens. Yeah.
Bring it back.
I'm thinking that they might have something in mind when it comes to like space and aliens, but I don't think they're gonna like it's not gonna be Zelda Galaxy or something. It's gonna be like Breath of the Wild. We're still gonna have like ground to stand on kind of thing, but maybe just more elements that are more sci-fi or something.
Maybe it could
I
be
don't know.
like kind of tying into Skyward Sword a bit. Maybe a lot more
Mhm.
floating lands and stuff.
Ooh.
I think, yeah, the parts in the sky in Breath of the Wild, there was some of that, but they could use it more, I guess, in the sequel.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that about that. Like a new Skyloft kind of area or something in Breath of the Wild, or maybe like replacing the map with just like a sky map that you have to traverse.
They're at like the two different ends of the timeline, right? Like Skyward Sword is way at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is way at the end.
Yes, it's at the end of one of the timelines. Nintendo is very confusing about the Zelda timeline. It's at the end of something, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's before a game. That's what I'm thinking. Pretty sure it
I
doesn't
mean,
go before anything.
It could, if they do that, it could make the timelines kind of like loop.
Loop, yeah,
Would be
that's what I'm
pretty
thinking.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a possibility.
Yeah, that would solve the map like issue and the and they can still have dungeons. I think that they're still gonna have like bigger, more robust dungeons than like last game, since that was a main complaint. And
Yeah.
I feel like the trailer kind of like alludes to that. But yeah, you can still have like pretty expensive dungeons in a game that takes place in the sky. So
Yeah.
dang.
And I want a darker Zelda game. I want to go back to Twilight Princess type.
Oh man.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
want it so bad.
if they want, they could have like a separate continent or land to explore, either as DLC or part of the main story, if it makes sense.
Hyrule 2.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I don't see. I mean, we're kind of bound to Hyrule. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want them to like have, if we're gonna go like, I'm hoping for something that's like more grimdark or something. They already have the Dark Worlds. They have like I forgot the Twilight Realm in Twilight Princess, I think. The issue is like they usually don't bring back those kinds of concepts after the first game that they appear in. So yeah.
Man, but it would be, I don't know, man. Twilight Princess is so good. I love the atmosphere that it portrays. So that's just me dreaming.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think that could be very cool.
Still dreaming about that Wii U like let's see, hardware like reveal or something, where they had the Zelda the Twilight Princess like demo or something against the giant spider, and it was like HD Twilight Princess, and then they had Breath of the Wild like revealed way
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that kind of tone doesn't actually, it does work with the Breath of the Wild art style. It just kind of like would look different because it would just be more of the kind of like dark shade kind of things that kind of, I'm reminded of Near Replicant, the enemies in that game. They would
Mhm.
kind of probably look something like that. I don't know if it would be anywhere near what Twilight Princess was hoping to go for. So
It's just that with the Switch having a more adult audience,
mhm.
I think they could do it. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm just dreaming here.
Yeah,
That's just what I wish. But
I
going
can
back
see
to
it.
Skyward Sword, that's
Mhm.
getting released, the HD version. I would not be surprised if it drops soon after the E3. Did they announce when in summer?
Yeah, didn't they already announce the release date for that?
I could have
'Cause
sworn.
I remember it being summer. Okay,
Yeah, July 16th.
July 16th. Okay. Okay, so that's far enough apart for them to like want to talk about something else,
Yeah,
probably.
exactly. And I don't think they have anything else to talk about Skyward Sword in the first place. So
Yeah,
they kind of
yeah.
have to talk about something else.
Yeah.
It's literally
They
just
use that
Skyward
to not
Sword.
talk about Breath of the
Breath of
Wild
the
2.
Wild too.
Yeah.
Literally, just the Nintendo Direct this year is just going to be Aonuma showing up to the screen saying, "We're still working on it, guys," and then leaving, and then that's just the end of the
He is gonna
Direct.
say that. He is gonna say that. But I'm guessing they're gonna release some kind of additional video, some
Yeah,
kind of trailer. I don't think they're releasing it for this December.
like
No.
literally the only thing that I want out of Breath of the Wild 2 is just like knowing, or out of the news about Breath of the Wild 2 is knowing whether or not Zelda's going to be playable, because it looks like she might, and I'd be very excited if she were, because
Yeah,
that would be epic.
it does look like she has a more active role.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
but as for like if she'd be a playable character, I don't know.
I mean,
I
the game's
wish.
called The Legend of Zelda. So
Yeah.
like,
Finally,
Yeah,
after all this
make
time.
that argument 20 years ago and like it won't really matter.
yeah.
Yeah, because like, well, the thing is, because with Breath of the Wild, the yeah, Aonuma, the team behind that game, really wanted to like flip a lot of the Zelda conventions. So that's why I'm seeing if they want to flip the like the earliest Zelda convention, which is Link being the main character.
Don't play as Zelda.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd
That
be
would be
pretty
cool.
cool.
That would be
Yeah.
cool. I don't think that'll happen, but it would be cool.
Yeah, and I doubt that they'd have like um some kind of like tag team kind of game play with like Zelda tagging along to your like first play or single player game.
Okay, that's totally possible. Because going back to Twilight Princess, we could think about it kind of like Midna and Link, and the second character is kind of like Wolf Link, right? He has a skill set which the adult Link doesn't have, and you swap out from one to another. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm trying to imagine like Link and Zelda kind of like running alongside one another, and I don't think that that's something that Zelda that
Wants
fits
to
with the
do.
franchise. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when we think about it, the Zelda saving Link or Link being
Yeah.
with Zelda, that happened already in the CDI games, if you know. So, so it's not
Wait a
new.
minute.
It,
Wait, you're right. That's genius. Of course. Breath of the Wild 2 is just CDI.
inspired by the greatest games in
sequel.
the franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Last thing with Breath of the Wild 2, I feel like is just like release date. Are we feeling like this holiday season?
No.
No.
Yeah.
2022.
They would have unless they're kind of like switching it up a bit. I feel like they would want to announce it in the previous direct, the one that they said we don't have anything to show.
Mhm.
If they wanted to make it for this winter season. But hey, maybe they're like, oh, E3 is a larger stage, so we could do it there instead.
Yeah, they might
then
be cutting
announce
it
it for-
close.
Yeah. But I mean, doesn't really matter. Everyone's gonna buy it if it comes out for the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the question is like, if they're not going to make this holiday season though, when would the release date be? Even if it were next year, like, would it be holiday next year? Like, we'd have to wait another year for this, or something like a summer
When
game?
are the
That doesn't seem
two
right.
like? Is summer a major selling season? It's mostly holiday season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's usually holiday season, and this is like the biggest game, or one of the biggest games that Nintendo has. So
Yeah, I feel like they
unless
want to
it,
pair
yeah,
it with the Pro.
Pro,
Yeah, I think those two would go hand in hand in terms of release times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like they're gonna release the Pro yet.
gotcha. Yeah. So I guess it's a we'll wait and see kind of
That's what we've been
situation.
doing.
For we've already been doing that for a long time, thanks Nintendo.
Honestly, I don't care how long I have to wait as long as it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
definitely.
for sure.
Another major game that has a 2022 release date is Splatoon 3, which they announced.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised by that reveal since I thought Splatoon 2 is still pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're kind of done with like supporting it, I think, right? Because like they're already done with all the Splatfests, and I don't think they're adding anything to the game anymore. Although,
It's just that Splatoon is such an easy game to make a sequel to. It's
yeah,
like
That's true.
COD. You have the core mechanics down. You add new weapons. You add new maps. You got the engine running already. It doesn't need to look better. So like
yeah,
there you go.
and
You have a new Splatoon game.
Yeah, it's a very effective formula, that's for sure.
yeah, and it has some kind of story that we can like add to because
Yeah.
of the very last Splatfest always like leads to the next thing. I think the last Splatfest of 2 was like chaos, so we're kind of seeing that apocalypse kind of aesthetic like show up in this game, but might
That
just
could be their holiday
Yeah.
release. It's 2022, but it could be like January 1st.
That
oh
is, yeah, that's true. That could count as like holidays in a
Yeah.
way.
dang, okay.
Like you could probably pre-order for by December and then just get it on January 1st, and then January 1st is still during the winter break, so people would still go out of their way and buy it. But honestly, I don't know. That's kind of weird. That would be kind of weird. Because if a mom has to make a choice, or a mom or a dad has to make a choice for their kid, like, okay, I'm gonna buy him one video game for
Yeah, and it wouldn't
the
arrive on
holidays.
Christmas. So
yeah, and it's gonna arrive on Christmas. Splatoon would not be on the list because it's not out yet.
yeah, that's why most games are released. Holiday season games are released like late October and like throughout November.
Yeah. But honestly, it could be like a digital only release. No, they wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think they would do that for Splatoon 3.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna be holiday either.
Yeah, it could be like summer next year, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the
But
case
then
with
when do you
Splatoon 2?
release Zelda? You won't release two major games in the same season.
Well, yeah, but in that case, I think we're like on the money, and we're saying that Zelda's probably going to be even further back,
Yeah,
and it's going to be next holiday.
And yeah, Splatoon 2 was released in like July of 2017, so
Yeah. Okay.
That would make sense then. That's probably gonna be it. To be honest, it's gonna be this December or this holiday season. They're probably gonna release the last Smash character,
Mhm.
or maybe the last Smash character. That's gonna be their big thing, and then summer is gonna be Splatoon, and then next winter is gonna be the Switch Pro and Zelda.
I mean,
Well, wait a minute.
this
I don't
holiday-
think they're gonna like have a DLC fighter like count as a game.
I mean, this
Right,
holiday season,
so-
like in November, there's the Pokemon remakes, obviously.
Right.
so-
Yeah. Pokemon
those.
is going to be this holiday. So, okay, they still have that, which is pretty huge. Is Legends coming out the
supposed to come
same?
out?
No,
Yeah.
Legends is later. I think we can expect it
Okay.
for.
I think they said
next
January
year's.
2022.
Mm,
Oh,
okay.
January. All right.
So, like around holiday season, that's just going to be all Pokemon, I guess. Okay. Hmm.
I'm kind of hoping for a Fire Emblem remake, maybe following after
I
the
was literally,
Echoes.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro. I love Genealogy of the Holy War, which is Fire Emblem 4. And yeah, I have a vision of like what the trailer could look like, and I can't really speak about it because I feel like there's going to be a lot of spoilers if I were to like say my version of the trailer. But like just hearing any of the tracks from that game, I feel like I'd be like ascended or something if I were to like hear anything from that game show up on a Nintendo Direct and like showing anything that might resemble a remake related to that game. That'd be amazing. But
Is
we'll
there a
see.
possibility? Because Nintendo has not really announced much in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah,
We
I
had
think the
one.
most-
We had one direct in the last 2 years.
Right.
That is true. It could also have been due to like COVID.
Yeah, of course. But I feel like something big must be happening, right?
Yeah.
Like COVID, you can still program from home. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I doubt Nintendo would just stop operations for 6 months.
No, they
also-
definitely didn't. The thing is like they probably postponed a ton of different announcements. I just don't know what games could possibly be in the works right now, just because their
Odyssey
marketing
2.
has been kind of all over the place.
We're still waiting for like
Oh
Metroid
my
Prime
god, yeah.
4, Bayonetta
Odyssey 2.
3.
Yeah. Metroid 4 and Bayonetta 3. Oh my.
Hopefully, we'll get some footage for these, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something more than just like a kind of cool visual trailer,
Yeah.
just the logo.
They need one really big thing.
I mean, could the big thing be Fire Emblem though? That's what I'm
I-
wondering. I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
Unless
it's a
unless
remake.
it's a brand new game,
Yeah.
I don't think so. And since Three Houses came out semi recently, I don't think it's there yet for it to
Yeah.
be a brand new game.
I mean, they could market a remake as like a brand new game just because it might be something that they're
Mm.
putting a lot of effort into, but even
But
then
they
I
never
don't
they never
really
do that though. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly. Yeah. I
It
don't
could
really
be like
have a
another
tr-
Star Fox game. That
Mm.
would be
I don't know if that's a
whack.
really like
That'd
big
be pretty
game. though.
wild. Yeah, it's a pretty big franchise back in, well, it's more like a legacy franchise at this point,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
What if it's F-Zero, guys? Oh my god.
The revival.
The revival of
F-Zero.
F-Zero.
Like, honestly, they have so much to work with that they haven't
Yeah.
touched.
They
in
really
so long.
do.
Yeah,
Yes.
it could be so many things, but F-Zero is too old. I don't think that would be their new major game.
Yeah.
Could we expect a Mario game?
Maybe like that. That's why I said Odyssey 2. Like it's been since the release of the Switch since they touched the Mario franchise. They just made the Bowser's Fury thing,
Yeah.
That's true.
but that was just a DLC, not a new game. So,
Mhm.
but it was kind of marketed as a new game, but it really wasn't. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't.
really wasn't. So
It could be Mario.
Yeah, because they didn't have DLC for Odyssey, surprisingly, and I feel like they're kind of
Yeah.
saving that content for another game.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be releasing anytime soon. They're just going to be announcing it, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like something needs to be announced and released, which won't happen. And
Mario Kart 9?
again, I don't think Zelda's there yet. I don't think a next Fate game is gonna happen. I don't think, or sorry, Fire Emblem game is gonna happen. Mario's probably not gonna happen. Splatoon
Sonic
already
game?
has.
They had
What game?
Sonic maybe, or
They had a recent like Sonic Direct. Which
Yeah, they did.
had like nothing.
Oh yeah, there is a
But
new
that
Sonic
wouldn't be
game coming out.
Nintendo.
I mean,
though. That would be
it's
Yeah,
been
that'll-
a yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
would be a
been a
Sega thing, but even then, like, it would it even show up at a Nintendo Direct? I don't think so.
re-release
actually.
of Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Oh man,
Mario and Sonic at the 2021 Olympic Games.
It's still 2020 Olympic Games, but they did release that game, right?
I think
I
so.
think
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
So
They
one-
always release it like way earlier before the Olympics actually happened. So
That's so
it's been out for
sad.
so
That's
long.
sad.
Yeah.
I know this is like
Yeah.
a dead franchise, but could we get Arms 2? Maybe for summer?
maybe
Oh,
maybe actually.
maybe
yeah, I could see that.
that is an IP that they haven't touched in a while.
Yeah, and I could see that being an IP that they would just drop out of nowhere too. Like they could do that.
Still waiting for Kid Icarus game too. That's not happening.
It's not
Uprising
happening
2,
anytime
let's
soon. It could happen, just not now.
Yeah. At least okay, what I like about Nintendo currently is that they no longer have two concurrent consoles. They don't have the portable and the home console. So they can focus all of their power into like just one console, which is pretty cool. For Kid Icarus, especially, like we had the last game on the 3DS, which was ages ago. Having a new game on a main console would be really cool.
Yeah.
And it would still be the same team, just that they would be working on a larger project. But yeah, dude, there's so much, and they've released so little.
Yeah. What are we
Well,
feeling with Bayonetta 3? Because we know that Platinum Games is working on a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
are.
Platinum Games has been tinkering with that.
And I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think
not-
it's their priority too. I think like
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall, I think, is
Yeah.
Mm,
is coming
Yeah.
out before. So
And then, of
Right.
course, there's Metroid Prime 4, but like they restarted development 2 years ago or something. And it seemed like it was going pretty roughly. So,
That's probably not gonna happen yet either.
I mean, it might not happen soon, but are we thinking any
It's-
like news or anything? Like something?
Maybe news, but no releases. That yeah, I don't know. A game takes what, like 4 or 5 years to develop,
Yeah.
and if they're on their second year, it would still probably take a bit more to want to release some kind of trailer or something like that. So I don't know. Any possible new IPs?
they could surprise us. I guess we just wouldn't know for sure.
They have been playing around with new IPs with the Switch, with ARMS and Splatoon. And them already being as old as they are could be possible.
one thing I really want for the Switch is like a Wii Sports for Switch, because I love that game on Wii, especially
Yeah.
Resorts. I think there's a lot of people who want an equivalent for the Switch. So
But like equivalent or like a straight up Wii Sports like new game or something.
I don't know.
Switch Sports Resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make a good summer release.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'd have to be
Maybe.
holidays. It has to be before summer so people can, like, I don't know, use it to get fit. add the boxing game, add a few like I don't know.
But we already
Fit
have
Adventure
we
2.
already have Wii Fit or Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Which has been selling like hotcakes because of the pandemic. So
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we could just see a sequel to that, maybe.
I mean, the original Wii Sports was kind of about like fitness and stuff, but Wii Sports Resorts was more about like just fun gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what if they only announced Labo stuff? Like just 20 Labo announcements. And they're
Hey.
all $200.
Let's go cardboard.
Board for the win.
Labo did like really bad, didn't it? Because I don't know a single human being that bought Labo.
I
It's a
don't
kids
know.
thing. That's what I feel it's more targeted towards.
Yeah, it's more targeted towards just like a younger demographic who kind of like plays a little bit more simpler games and kind of in that like Lego kind of age range. Yeah.
Maybe.
So definitely we wouldn't really know too much about that.
True.
But I feel like I remember their sales weren't too great or something.
I hope there's not a single Labo announcement. Honestly, that's just a waste of precious E3 time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Labo like performed that badly. It's just I doubt that it's gonna show up at E3 because like Felix said, they're focusing more on games probably than anything else. So
I'm sure they see Labo as another game.
okay, to be fair, yeah, they might. So
'Cause,
they
like,
are
it's just
releasing
cardboard. They don't have to. The hardware isn't really like too amazing.
yeah. But they're releasing something that's similar to Labo, or at least like idealistically similar. The what is it called? Some kind of like programming game where you can make games
Oh, yeah.
yourself.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks
Okay,
fun.
them.
Garage.
Okay, that actually might be their main holiday game.
Holiday game. I have a feeling they're gonna release it like really soon though, right? Like maybe this summer, but like later in the summer or something.
I could see it being either one.
Hmm.
But if
Yeah.
it were the holiday, I could see it being paired up with like really good games that were made in-house using the software. I don't know how powerful the software is, but that could be a great way to both sell the game and to make people interested in programming with the game.
Yeah, I think it's June 11th.
Yeah,
so, like
just
1
before
week.
E3.
Oh,
Okay. So it is
Okay.
releasing like right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're probably not gonna
Never
be
mind then.
yeah. Literally the day before E3. Okay.
They're making us make Metroid Prime 4 for them.
For the
This is this is their new IP. They're just gonna steal all the good games and then just increase the budget.
oh my god.
That's gonna be interesting though. I know Mario Maker 1 and 2 were pretty big with like the community making really creative levels and stuff like that. So they just have to market it more. I haven't heard almost anything about that game.
Yeah, the fact that we kind of forgot about it before I brought it up was pretty not great for a game that's coming out in literally a
Now.
week.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, is there anything else Nintendo wise that we can like even
Yeah, I mean that's something that I'm kind of dreaming here. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I like maybe a port for Xenoblade X on the Switch.
Oh,
That'd be really cool, but
yeah, I have that on Wii U.
yeah. I never had the Wii U, so I'd love to play that game, but
Yeah. Turns out it's not really my kind of game, but it seems like people who really enjoy Xenoblade would probably really enjoy that game. So I'm really hoping that they port that because I feel like that's the last thing from the Wii U era that they haven't ported yet.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't even need a remaster or anything. I think it
It really doesn't. Yeah.
builds up pretty well in the Switch era. So.
Yeah. So
What? Okay, so this year is the Zelda's 35th anniversary, right?
oh, is it? I think it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're just
So
gonna get Skyward Sword.
I forgot
we're
about
gonna
that
get Skyward
too.
Sword. That's already confirmed.
Yeah.
I would be ecstatic if they just ported all the games that already have an HD remake. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be
Yeah, of
Ocarina of
course.
Time from the 3DS, Majora's
Yeah.
Mask from the 3DS, Twilight Princess from the Wii U, and then Wind Waker from the Wii U,
Okay, wait.
and then
So
Skyward Sword. If they port all of those games, make it a bundle, cost $60, it would sell like hotcakes. Makes sense with the Mario
Oh, like the Mario All-Stars
anniversary
thing.
bundle thing as well.
hmm.
And
Well,
like it fits the time period. I would be so happy.
okay, wait. Let's backtrack though, because like I can see Twilight Princess HD, I can see Wind Waker HD, but like Ocarina of Time 3D, like the 3DS version and Majora's Mask, I feel like they'd have to like rework that completely for a Switch release, wouldn't they?
Yeah, because Nintendo hasn't really set up a virtual console on the Switch like they did with the Wii U. And I
Yeah.
feel like
Okay,
they
so
haven't
they
really
they
been
do
porting
have
older games.
they have like the NES and the NES. I don't know. They have the different earlier consoles
Mhm.
already there, like the emulators there.
Yeah,
If you
but
Those are
have
like
the
retro.
online service.
yeah, we're talking about a 3DS game, and like it has
Yeah,
two
they could-
screens as well.
True. The two screens. But what in those two games it's just inventory space and map.
Yeah,
So like it's
I
not
mean,
impossible. And they were already
true.
those are already HD remakes, so you would just use the same I don't know. I would be happy, but yeah, like it's kind of a bit unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, they might just like release a normal port of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask or something in the same vein as like Mario 64 and Sunshine, like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might not be the HD ports that we want.
But yeah, if we could just get all of the main Zelda games in the Switch, that'd be amazing. Because we also have Link's Awakening already.
Yeah.
Um, so
Which
like
looks great.
there really aren't too many left other than the ones that have already been remade.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that would be really cool. And they really haven't done anything for Zelda's 35th anniversary. So
Yeah. I mean, okay, since we just mentioned like Xenoblade X, like are we thinking that Monolith Soft might be working on something else other than, of course, they work on Zelda games, so they're going to be working on Breath of the Wild too. But are they so busy that they can't work on another game, or could there be a Xenoblade something? Maybe not 3 though.
Honestly,
I'm
they might be working on something. Maybe they want to revive Xenosaga or something.
Oh yeah, Xenosaga. Yeah.
We'll have to see. Yeah. I mean, I'm always ready for a new Monolith Soft game, so because they're one of my favorite studios. So yeah, we'll have to see.
All right.
man, yeah, there's a lot that they can do, and there's a lot that they haven't announced yet that I'm sure they're working on right now.
Yeah.
The last thing
Uh-huh.
that we should probably talk about is the Smash characters.
All
Probably
right.
gonna be one of the
A
biggest
new DLC.
things.
What do you guys think? Can we expect a new DLC at E3? Or-
I think they
Most
have
definitely.
Yeah.
they have to say something about that in E3.
I guess the real question is like, will they announce the two last ones or just keep it one and then leave the last one mysterious for a little bit
I
more?
think they'll just announce one.
Pretty sure they'll announce one because I doubt
Last
that
E3 they
they'll.
announced two, no?
Yeah, typically in E3s they announce two, but
And there's
True,
two
but I
left.
don't think that they're
Last
gonna
ones.
do that for the last.
I mean, there's
Two.
the Tokyo Game Show in September. They might
Oh.
wait for that for the
Mhm.
next DLC. So
True.
Dude, are
Yeah,
they
and they
gonna
also
kill
really like the Game
Sakurai?
Awards. Wait, what?
Are they gonna kill Sakurai by having an additional DLC after the last two characters?
I don't think
No, I
so.
don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is the last one. I'm really happy
That's what
with
they
what.
said with the first one, though.
That's true.
This is the final DLC. A few months later, actually.
Actually, we've heard your cries for Waluigi, so we added another like set of fighter DLC.
8 DLC characters. They're all different Waluigi skins.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, something doesn't sit right with me with like announcing the last two of a DLC like list in the same event, because I don't think they do that. But at the same time, I guess they don't really care too much about last characters, or at least like the
Yeah.
impact of
They
like
could
what the
leave the very last one like mysterious, but still have a teaser. Maybe
Yeah, they might tease it.
like Arms. Like they said, oh, we have a character from Arms, but which one?
Okay, that might be it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's probably what's gonna happen now that you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's only so many games that like, well, that would have to be a fighting game, I guess, because it would be a game that has like a large roster that you have to choose from.
Yep.
Unless they come up with a different way of teasing that, but can't really think of any other way you would tease a game or a fighter without accidentally like
Yeah,
revealing who
because
it
like
is.
if you
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, the next fighter is from Devil May Cry," but
It has
who
to
can
be
it be?
Dante. Like it has to be him. Like even if it's like Nero, it's or something, some other character from that series, it would.
it could be a few different franchises. Like with Final Fantasy,
Oh
it
yeah,
could have been
yeah,
it could have
true.
been a lot of characters, and they chose Sephiroth. So they can. There's probably a few franchises that they could choose from if they wanted to make that the case.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
maybe like a new character from the Sonic universe or something. Maybe Tails. I don't know.
I didn't want to. I wouldn't be too happy, but a new a Pokemon DLC with the new Pokemon games coming up, and also with Sword and Shield.
I mean,
I feel like the DLC characters tend to stay away from Nintendo
well,
property.
that's what we thought, and then we got Byleth.
Yeah, we got Min Min, Pyramithra,
Yeah, exactly.
Piranha Plant.
So yeah, that's not something that we can really like rely on too much.
Yeah.
I don't want a Pokemon, another one at least.
Yeah, but it just
Yeah.
kind of makes sense in the sense like recently DLCs have kind of been like a little bit of promotional material. Like with Byleth kind of coinciding with Fire Emblem Three Houses, and then Incineroar kind of being the last one announced to tie in Sun and Moon. And then in Smash 4 we also had like Corrin for Fire Emblem.
No, you're totally right. Like I mean, I personally see like Smash as like a really powerful marketing tool for like Nintendo and its partners, right? The question is like I don't know if they do another Pokemon though, because like
they have so many already.
they already have so many. They have so many like trophies. It feels like Smash already like promotes Pokemon enough that
And
it'd be a little weird for it to be another one.
And like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like a Pokemon added to the base game, like Incineroar. That makes sense, but I don't think there will be a DLC Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Especially because like the games that are coming out are set in regions that we've already visited, right? Like there's not going to be any new Pokemon, I think. Like no new generation.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see that unless another generation is suddenly like revealed during this E3 or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking Dante
Yeah,
for the next DLC fighter.
I think my predictions are maybe like Dante, Crash, Bandicoot, or maybe Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. That wouldn't be surprising, actually. Ninja
Yeah.
King.
My one guess is anyone from the Nier series.
I was
My
gonna
main thought is
mention that, but
2B, 9S, and A2. They all fit as like you could just have a couple skins for each one, and maybe add like Kaine or someone from Replicant. And since Replicant came out a little bit ago, it kind of
Yes.
fits. It's a Platinum game and Square Enix, which both already have characters in Ultimate.
well, I mean, that might be a reason why they won't have them in there, though, because Sephiroth already showed up pretty recently, and I don't think they're
yeah,
going
but
to double
that's
up
the
on Square.
publisher. So
That's
like,
true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, but also, I.
that's all I want, dude. That's
I
can
know you
breathe.
want that,
It
but I
makes so
don't think
much
it's
sense.
happening.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but like,
yeah.
I don't think they have a reason to add those characters in, like from a marketing or any kind of standpoint, other than just the characters would fit.
I
So-
mean, the characters fit. They are partners already, so like we know the character can be there.
Unless
It's not like the Hollow Knight, right? It's like
yeah,
that character. There's no proof of it being able to be there since it's an indie developer, right? We have proof that the developer can be in the game
all
and that
right.
they fit, and the game has sold millions of copies. They're what at like 50 million copies, which is a lot of copies. Replicant just came out, so if they're like, hey, want to advertise Replicant, that would be cool.
Yeah, because like we did mention earlier that Replicant might be a Switch game somehow, which I
is
still don't
possible.
believe, but
It's possible. Like
Yeah.
the game's old enough for like, I don't know. Yeah, I
because
haven't played it yet, so I don't know
if
how
that
the graphics-
actually if that's actually true and Replicant is coming out, I could see Kaine being like the DLC fighter.
if
and then-
if Nier Automata comes out in the Switch, that would also make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so like it's either Kaine or like 2B, maybe probably 2B because she's more like famous. And then
I mean, you can just have different skins. They all fight
Yeah.
very similarly.
it would be like 2B skin, A2 skin, along with Kaine and maybe Zero from Dragon Guard. All those characters are very like similar in appearance.
Yeah.
I don't
They
think
could
9S would
do-
show up though.
They could do 2B 9S and then split it 4 and 4 skins.
Yeah, 9S would have to be like a shoot, what's it called? Like a shadow, like a clone.
fighter?
Or, what is it called?
Not
Or-
necessarily. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. How are they called?
I
Shadow
completely
Fighters?
forgot. I don't remember.
I should know this.
Yeah, especially since this was originally going to be a Smash related episode, so we probably should have known quite a bit.
Mirror
about Smash.
Fighters, or I think
Echo Fighters.
Echo
Go
Fighters.
Fighters. There it
Echo
is. Okay.
Fighters. That's the one. That's the one.
Well, no, 9S has to be like an Echo Fighter. He's not going to be like another character. I don't think, especially because he already plays pretty similarly to like 2B, except for hacking. And how would hacking even work in Smash?
I mean, if you have a similar situation as Pyra and Mithra, you could do it
Mhm.
very easily. But I don't know if they want to have 2 consecutive DLC characters that have a similar swap out mechanic. That'd be
Yeah,
kinda
that's true.
It would be cool, and
Would be cool.
that would. I mean, it works, but yeah, I don't think, and like after so long, after so many DLC characters, I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, when Replicant was coming out, I was calculating like, okay, it's been X amount of months since the previous DLC character, so they should be able to release something right before Replicant comes out and like make it a big announcement. But then none of that ever happened, and I was sad.
I
And now we're
mean,
here, and now I have doubts.
if it happens to be like a Draconeer character, like you know that I'm gonna love it. So hey, like it's the dream. It could happen. Who knows? But I don't know. Other than that, other than Nier, I feel like we'd probably be a bit more productive with other characters. I really don't think that it's gonna be a
No,
Nier
but
game.
okay. Let's think about like the other stuff, music, stages, right?
Yes,
We can
I
have.
know. And
Oh, I
Sakurai, I
want it
think
so
Sakurai is
bad.
a big fan of Automata. At least I remember him being so. Maybe. So hey, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to another franchise
All
that
right.
could be added.
Yeah. So like we did mention Crash, which is
Yeah.
like that would be uh the last member of the trifecta that is Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, kind of like joining into
Mhm.
Smash. So that would be great. Um,
Well,
as for
technically,
if it would
Microsoft
happen,
has
though,
Steve, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Microsoft. Well, no,
Crash is Sony, no?
Crash is Sony, isn't it?
And
Oh,
Banjo
Yes,
is
yes,
yeah,
it
my
Banjo is
is.
bad. I was
Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah, so Crash would be like the Sony rep. We already have Banjo Kazooie and Steve from Microsoft, which is why like it would be amazing if we could get like Master Chief from Microsoft as well. But
Yep.
with so many like reps from there, it would be a lot. Not only
There's a
that.
strong correlation, with a few exceptions,
Mhm.
of all the characters being from Japanese studios. And I
No,
don't
no
I
more
don't
third parties
feel I don't
or
feel
American.
like Halo fits Smash very well.
Mm,
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
know
know.
if I agree with that because like it seems like Smash is okay with guns now.
Kind
And
of.
I feel like it could work somehow. I think Sakurai could do it. Either like Master Chief or like Doom Guy, maybe from Bethesda as
Doom Guy
well,
would be
since
cool.
they're all from Microsoft now. So
Yeah.
um, they would play really similarly, and they would like. I think they could work. I have faith. The
It's yeah, I
question
don't
is
know.
if they would actually like happen. I don't think so.
I have a theory with my friends
Hmm.
that like Smash character has a few criteria it needs to meet before even being considered. It has to be from a Japanese studio or have close ties to Nintendo. Because the only character that doesn't meet that standard is Steve and Alex, and that's it. Kind of makes sense since Minecraft is literally the world's most selling game. So I feel like that's okay to break that correlation. And then Banjo and Kazooie, that's the only other American company that, or the only other American developer that has a character in Smash that I can think of off the top of my head.
There's King K. Rool and Diddy Kong since they're technically from Rare's Donkey Kong Country, but yeah, they're pretty close to
But they're a
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo
Yeah.
like property. And
Hmm.
Banjo and Kazooie, from what I remember, their studio has very close ties to Nintendo already. So it kind of just works because they've had stuff in the past. What are they? They're
I
what,
mean,
what,
instead of like being a Japanese studio, I guess like the criteria would be you're close to Nintendo, which is fair because like it is Smash, so Nintendo wants to make sure that it's their like friends, their partners that kind of are prioritized for that game.
yeah,
Um,
but um,
Then again, we did get
who does it?
characters from like PS exclusives, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's really hard to like say who's going to be Nintendo's friend or who Nintendo wants to
yeah.
like help out. Um, just based off of like who the developer is, I guess is what I'm saying. Because like,
yeah.
yeah, we don't know
It's
what's
just that
happening
it has
behind
to
doors.
help both parties involved. It needs to be a large
Yeah,
enough game that it brings in an audience and wants people to buy that character.
but that's exactly why Halo would work. I feel like
Yeah.
at least on from a marketing standpoint, especially because of Halo, the new Halo coming out.
But I don't know. I feel like people who like Halo fanboys probably stick with the Xbox and don't pass over to Switch. I would don't care about Master Chief one bit. like if I didn't already have the fighter pass, or if I didn't love Ultimate, I would not buy that character. And probably feel like most of my friends who are like Nintendo fanboys probably feel semi-similar. So I don't know. That's why I said I feel like the Halo franchise doesn't really fit. It's a first-person shooter. There are no first-person shooter characters, except maybe like Snake, but that's not even first person. So
well, yeah, I still don't think that even that is going to be a reason why it can't be possible. I really do think that Sakurai can like pull a lot of strings and make that work.
Splatoon's not a first-person shooter, right? It's a third-person.
It's a
shooter.
third-person
third person.
shooter,
And
but
besides, it's
I
like
feel
very
like the
cartoony.
perspective is not going to be like the main
That's the
issue.
only thing that matters. What do you mean?
I don't think the perspective is going to be an issue. Oh my god. Okay. Well, hey, I don't know, because like again, we already have two big Microsoft game or like reps, I guess.
Yeah.
So even with that,
Could it be a Resident Evil character? Is that even remotely possible?
I've been thinking about that a long
Hey, it's
time.
Mitch for
Yeah, Lady
Oh my,
you.
yes.
She's
Not any
number
of like
82.
the staple characters, just the one the
She
one
would
like
tower
character that
above
took
all other heavies.
the internet by storm. My god. I mean, the one character that comes to mind when it comes to Resident Evil is Leon, just
Leon,
because
yeah.
he has so much that he could do just melee wise without even having to pull out a gun, that it would fit pretty well into a lot of the more I don't know, like simpler move sets, I guess, that could like progressively get more complex with different weapons that he could pull out.
Yeah.
But even
But
then, yeah.
Man, I don't know.
I feel like they
feel
would
like
prioritize Dante over Resident Evil, or like any Resident Evil character, because of
he fits better.
Capcom. Yeah.
Dante would be really cool.
Yeah, I would really love Dante.
Yeah.
That's probably my top pick for like what I want for DLC, just because it would just be awesome. And especially because I want to see if they can implement some kind of like style point kind of system with him, because we all know that like each DLC fighter has some kind of special mechanic that's added to them, and I feel like Dante would have like a pretty obvious one with the like style meter going up, and maybe taunts actually doing some kind of mechanical thing in his like moveset. I don't know, just love like taunts and like style like grading, that kind of stuff from DMC. It's just so cool. So
Hacking could be that ability if it were 9S. You know, just throwing that out there.
Wait a minute.
From what I've heard Sakurai say, I feel like the team's opinion also matters. It's not like a Sakurai's the only one who gets to decide.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's for sure.
And especially because of this round of DLC being more like Nintendo, the corporation, choosing certain characters for Sakurai to work with.
So I feel like the developers have to have played the game. And again, going back to my theory of like Japanese studios, I feel like that's their main focus. They play a lot of Japanese made games. So Dante makes sense. Like that's something I would see Nintendo developers like really loving. So that fits.
Yeah.
And speaking of Japanese studios, since we already have like a few characters from some other fighting games, we might get something from an Arc System game like BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, or something
Oh,
like
Soul
that.
Bad Guy would be
That would be
lit.
pretty cool.
Oh.
Or like Ragna from BlazBlue or something like that. Especially, I mean, they have a history of like sharing characters with other franchises too. So I
Are
don't
they
know how
popular enough though?
Oh yeah, I mean, they made
Guilty
like
Gear probably is
Guilty
at the
Gear,
cusp.
BlazBlue. They worked on, or they're part of Dragon Ball Fighter Z. you and their Night in Birth. Like every 2D anime fighter practically is them. So
Yeah. Wow.
I know
Hmm.
if Tony were here, he would bring up two fighters that he would want.
Goku.
Yep.
And
Goku.
he's probably
Based.
told you guys before. But yeah, Goku, I could not see that happening
No,
ever.
he's
Well,
not.
Sakurai, I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
Sakurai said like something about Goku not being
Not
Could
a
work,
thing
but
ever.
I don't think it's going to be.
He's-
Yeah, he could work. It's not happening though.
But like,
Okay.
if you introducing a character from another fighting game is pretty, or like it works. You have the music, you already have some kind of gameplay ID. You
Hmm.
also have the you also get the niche from that fighting game in yours, kind of. So I don't know.
It could happen. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
it is a bit odd though.
Yeah.
But the other thing Tony would say is Mike Tyson. He would want Mike Tyson to be.
We're just outing
to be
Tony
in
right now, aren't we?
Smash. It's because he talks about it. He
He
wants.
talks about it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time he says like, "I want Mike Tyson to be in Smash."
Yeah, just to honor him since he's not here, right? I feel like we should talk about it a little bit. I think
Wait,
Mike Tyson also just very dumb choice. He's a real human, therefore
Just
can't
putting
be
it
in
And well,
Smash.
I don't even think he would agree because there's like N Bison in Street Fighter. I think he didn't agree to to let the game use his name. So I don't think that will be the case in Smash either.
I mean,
I
but
mean,
he's already in Punch Out, right? It's Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure we already covered a lot of like why that's not going to happen in our Discord, which is linked below, by the way.
Also, one thing I would really like is Reimu Hakurei from Toho.
Yeah, Toho could be there.
I think there could
It's
be
very niche though.
no,
niche for
no,
some
Toho
Not
is
niche.
not
yeah, but
massive in
it's.
Japan.
exactly.
I mean, I think it's a niche, but like it's a pretty big niche in itself. So
Yeah,
It's
I think the main
otaku
issue
culture,
with it,
which
yeah,
Ultimate doesn't really mix into too much.
yeah, I don't see it happening. It's also, I mean, it's just it's not like Toho is made by some big company. It's
yeah, it's
just one
just
guy.
one guy.
Very,
So
yeah.
that's the main thing that I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, I don't think that Toho would work.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, wait, it could work as a me costume because those things are a
Yeah.
thing
That's
that
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
think Nintendo's had like a proper indie game character on its own. They've mostly just been resorted to me costumes or assist trophies.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
which
has
I
been really
think-
cool. Yeah,
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 that's
which I
and it
think
works.
pretty-
Yeah,
is a good standard. I don't think indie games should have characters. It would be cool, but I don't think it kind of works.
yeah.
So I'm good with settling with some near character and then Dante.
Your character in Dante.
I think I'll stick with my prediction of a Pokemon to everyone's disappointment, and then
Really?
probably
Okay.
Crash.
Hey, yeah. Like I'm thinking maybe. Oh man, I hope that if it's a like third party character like Crash or anything like that, that it's going to be the last character because I don't want a repeat of like Byleth being the last character and it being the kind of a slight disappointment for a lot of fans.
Yeah, I think it needs to be non Nintendo. The
Yeah.
last one.
I mean, I hope that it would be, but who knows?
Yeah.
Well, that said, Dante would still be pretty amazing as a last character. So
Yeah.
yeah, Dante and Crash.
What about you,
What about you,
Felix?
Felix? What are
What are you
feeling?
feeling?
Yeah, yeah. Dante, I haven't played his game, but he does look really cool. I mean, there,
Yeah,
that's for sure. And from what I've seen, he would work pretty well. Yeah, I think it's going to be like Crash or Dante. At this point, they seem to be the most likely. So yeah.
Yeah, damn, wasn't able to convince a single one of you guys.
I mean, I'd be
No,
happy
near-
to hear Rip. I
Dude, I would love that.
Yeah,
Like
but
that would be
I don't
yeah.
see it
If
happening.
we're talking about like wishes, then that would be at the top of the list. But I don't think
I
it's
don't
happening.
really expect also to be in the game after like Sephiroth and Paramithra. I think they're going to change the kind of gameplay the next characters are going to have. So yeah, I don't think it's likely, but yeah, I would love it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, damn, I don't know. It just works. It just works. They also
It
have
just
It
works.
does. It
they have the
does.
pods as well, which is cool.
Yeah, the pods make things interesting. I still don't know if that's going to be enough to make it like that much different from like Pyra, Mithra,
Yeah,
Sephiroth so far.
Yeah,
So-
basically Rosalina with a sword at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, in that case, I guess we've talked about fighters, so we can get into more Smash stuff.
how much do you guys
online.
play Smash? I'm guessing we all play a decent amount.
I actually don't really play as much Smash, I think, as you guys. I'm mainly kind of like yeah, I just find Smash interesting as a game and as like a community that's surrounding it, but I don't actually play it as much myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty proactive. I like been to a few or quite a bit of tournaments. That's kind of like the main game I've been playing, at least on the competitive side.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I've also played it a lot. I mean, haven't been to any tourneys, was planning to, but COVID happened, so yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
I used to play exclusively Ultimate. Now I do play a lot of Melee with Slot P, so yeah. But now I play both a bit, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm exclusive to Ultimate.
Yeah, I've been or Brawl was like my childhood, and although I wasn't
Same.
playing it competitively, we did have like what us as kids thought as like a 1v1, of like items and Smash Brawls.
Items, but it all ends up in tornado spam with Meta Knight,
Yeah.
so
Everyone goes on Temple.
uh,
Man, Temple is such a cursed map.
Brawl was really fun though. Like
Yeah.
it really was.
Well, I guess like until like Smash 4 came out, that's when I started playing it like pretty seriously. And started delving more into the competitive side of Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came like I was very young when I played Brawl. I didn't know anything about Smash after that during the whole Smash 4 era, and then I came back for Ultimate. So everything I know about Smash 4 is like once it's dead or after it's dead. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I started with Brawl. That was really fun. Never got into it like seriously until, same as Mitch, Smash 4 came out. I was older, cared about video games more, put time into playing it, played it too much. And then Ultimate came out, and then I also played that too much. So since 4 came out, I was consistently playing it with like my older brother, since he was always around and we're both like the same level. So playing against someone who's roughly the same level as you is always really fun. So thanks to him, I got into the game quite a bit, and then ended up playing it with my friend who lives like right next door, who's also the same level as me. So just having people that is at the same skill level, really cool, made me enjoy the game a lot more. And then when Ultimate came out, I actually like I turned off items. I looked up online what are the competitive standards, like eliminated every other stage from my memory, and then exclusively played that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I guess like for most people, like when they make that transition to competitive Smash, it just kind of makes you realize how much the game is condensed to. Like you have all this content.
Yeah,
And
I think there's a lot of people who are like me that just remember this game as this childhood thing, and then they just saw some compilations on GR Smash or something, and just thought, hey, this is kind of nuts. But and then rabbit hole, and you end up learning about the competitive scene, and then you start wanting to be part of it. So yeah.
Yeah. There was this really good video about Hungry Box as a player in the Melee scene. I forget what the YouTuber is
There will
called.
never be a player like Hungry
oh
Box.
yeah,
Yeah,
by
that's
Amber
Yeah.
Lemon.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Really good
So
video.
I could see myself just become super enthralled with Melee if I didn't have Ultimate, just by watching that video.
Yeah,
Oh
That was a
yeah.
really good video.
the culture around Melee is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily much happening now because of COVID, obviously, but Melee has like a pretty big history, like of all these storylines that happened in its competitive scene. It's just really interesting to
It's
watch.
like there's some kind of lore behind it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have these
The
individual
5 pillars.
storylines. You have Isaiah or Hungry Box or Leffen with these storylines, and there's all the things about the five gods and this kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's like they made a documentary about it,
Oh
right?
yeah, the
Mhm.
Smash Talk.
Yeah. So like it has enough lore for people to be interested in making an entire movie about it, which is really cool. I doubt we're gonna have anything like that with more recent games, just since everything's more online. Maybe with like
Honestly,
older games, Dota and
honestly,
League.
if you take like some of the history of Smash 4 and maybe and Ultimate, if you condense them into one thing, you do have like some pretty good stories too. I think
Mhm. Yeah.
some of which didn't age very well, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess before the scandals, or there's this one YouTuber I watch. I think he's called GR Trash. Joke name aside, he like made some pretty nice, I guess, coverage of like tourneys and storylines, albeit with some joke edits. But
Uh-huh.
I guess that's the closest we have to covering Smash 4's history as much as Melee.
Yeah. Do you guys know why Melee was so well covered?
uh, I'd say like it really started as just a small group just going together in a basement or something and just playing together. And when it transitioned to bigger events, way bigger events, a larger scale, it was still these same groups and these same kind of people who are doing this stuff, who are running this. So it and through that, it kind of managed to create a history between them,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
had more people who wanted to join in, and it never the core of it never really dissolved. So yeah.
Yeah, the Melee is like very grassroots because they had to do everything like on their own without
Yeah.
Nintendo's help. And also because Brawl sucked as a competitive game, that also added to like Melee's continued
That's
growth.
I
true.
mean,
That's
yeah,
true.
but Brawl sucking competitively is ultimately what made Melee
Live.
still relevant. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was what, like the mechanic where you just tripped every 1 out of 100 hits or
Uh,
steps or something like that.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. Like it's crazy how big time just Nintendo wanted to screw over the competitive community.
and like every single character practically had a chain grab or something. That was yeah. If you're a Melee player and you see like Falco have a chain grab, you just think, nah, I'm not playing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Another part of the problem is just like Brawl's movement was neutered compared to Melee because Melee you have obviously directional air dodges, um, like wave and that that you can use that for wave dashing.
Yeah, the
Like
movement is Melee is pretty crazy. And what sets Melee also apart from other games, and that's something that doesn't exist at all in new games, especially fighters, is the lack of a buffering system. So it's all about, so it's way harder to get into because you have to be precise with your inputs. you have to wait for an animation to end before you using another move. But that also means that it allows for insane things. Well, wave dashes are part of this, and or any kind of movement, or uh, like using shine or this kind of stuff. It all uses this lack of buffering system, and
Yeah.
that's what allows for players to perfect their craft, like do frame perfect inputs or this kind of stuff.
I feel like, and again, I never really played Melee, so I don't know how well it was kind of passed over, but I feel like Ultimate is also a really good competitive game. I feel like Nintendo finally just
Mm.
stopped being annoying with their game design, and we're like, okay, yeah, let's try to make this a competitive game as well. And then added a bunch of stuff which just works. In Smash 4, I was never too serious about the competitive aspect of it, so I never really realized the things that made it like a broken competitive game. It which again I don't know too much about, but I've heard some things here and there. Um and I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think Ultimate's also like a seriously good competitive Smash game, or is Melee the only one?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not a melee elitist, but I definitely think Smash Ultimate is definitely a really good competitive game, or at least it allows easier entry into the franchise or the competitive scene, um, as opposed to melee, which is a lot more difficult, but a lot more rewarding if you put in time and effort into melee.
Yeah, and
Well,
I
what I
mean, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think that Ultimate is probably the best that Smash has been since Melee when it comes to the competitive scene, or like being viable for a competitive game. Um, but that's also why you kind of see that split, because Melee has been there for so long that it's built up that legacy. So now you kind of have those two separate games, Melee and Smash Ultimate, kind of forming two different Smash uh, competitive scenes.
Um,
Yeah.
well, what I think makes a good competitive Smash game is, well, on one hand, a high skill ceiling. Obviously, that's what makes competitive games really fun to watch and to practice. And also, you need to also to feel like the game is and the game design isn't working against you. That's
Yeah.
what made Brawl extremely annoying, with tripping, with some characters that just make the game playable and this kind of stuff. There are some complaints about that in Ultimate, but I feel like they're very minor, like untackables or stuff like that. But yeah, ultimately, I do think that Ultimate did a great job with that. But I also think that in that regard, Melee is pretty impressive. I mean, it has I think very few games have this high of a skill ceiling, and but there are also some problems in Melee, like ceiling glitches or weird thing that happens every single time. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
mean, it is an older game, and it was made pretty, like it was made in a rush, right? And that's kind of
Yeah,
why a lot of things work coincidentally, and a lot of things are kind of broken. So I'm very happy with how Ultimate turned out, and with 99% of the characters. Um,
The 1% being.
I you know what,
Little Mac.
you know what, Little Mac, not even. I enjoy Little Mac. The only character that I don't touch, and I think I've played him once because I got him when I was playing random, is Ice Climbers. I don't know what it is about
Yeah,
him.
Really?
I just despise Ice Climbers. Yeah.
it has become such a niche character in Ultimate. Like you have a few people who are trying to lap some insane combos, but in actuality, the character is it's like it doesn't even exist outside of this niche. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did forget that
Um.
that character is even in the games until you mentioned it.
bro,
So
melee players do remember it.
Not in the good way.
um. And yeah, there's a few things here and there, like Sonic mains, kind of cringe, but oh well. And young Link projectiles being annoying,
Online.
oh well. But like fair enough. There should be characters like that in the game, and there are.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big game. You're gonna
Yeah.
like run into a couple like not so great things that are in like a couple of characters in that huge roster. I mean,
Yeah, but I think I still, regardless of like their abilities and it being really annoying, I still think the entire game is very well balanced. I don't think there's one character that is overwhelmingly more powerful than any other. For example, I'm a Sheik main, and Sheik is a horrible character.
No damage at all.
Literally 0 damage, but he's so fun to play, or she's so fun to play. So yeah, and I can still kill my friends when he's playing Joker or Ganondorf or whatever. It takes longer, but it's balanced because he can't touch me because I'm too fast, and I deal no damage, but I can have pretty cool combos. So like it just works.
And the problem that Ultimate has, and I think we can all agree with this, is online.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yes.
This especially right now, since there's no alternative.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that kills the competitive scene right now. So
yeah, I haven't played Smash. I played Smash in Berkeley just a couple times with Tony and my roommate, but yeah, there's no way I can have like a serious game online. And with the pandemic, I didn't really meet too many people who I could play against either. So like, I've just not been playing Smash for a very long time. So now that I just got back to Panama, I've been very excited to play with my old friends.
Yeah, that applies to me as well. Like once the pandemic hit, I like stayed away from Smash. I could not bear to play it online, and also I just didn't have anyone around me to even play it in person.
Yeah. And level 9 CPUs are just no fun.
But hey, we in Melee we do have Sleepy, so yeah, we're not
That is
complaining.
true.
Yeah.
Rollback netcode is
Until
nice.
Nintendo takes it down.
yeah.
Man, yeah, I don't know. I think Nintendo did mention something about trying to rework the. No, it wasn't Nintendo. It was the people who were in charge of the netcode that were like, yeah, we'll work on it. Because it seems like Smash uses the same netcode as a few other games. I forget the specifics, but I really hope they fix the online, because that is the last thing that they really need to work on that'll make the game just that much better.
I vaguely know what you're talking about. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I heard rumors. I really didn't read too much into it. Especially since Nintendo never made any announcements themselves. They might not be too good of a source. But yeah.
Dang, but you play Sheik, Tomas? That's
I do. I know,
you're like
right?
a masochist.
I'll tell you my history of characters. When I first started out, I played. Who did I play? Wolf. I played Wolf when I just barely started. He was really fun. And then I switched to Pichu.
Ooh, okay.
But then he got nerfed.
Yep.
So then I changed to Pikachu. But then I was like, okay, let me try someone else. I used to play Falco. Captain Falcon. So I kind of went back to him for a bit, and then I was like, okay, let me try Dr. Mario, and then I loved Dr. Mario, and then I played Sheik. So then I started playing characters that no one touches, because I don't want to be seen as a like, oh, you only play the mainstream characters. So I played Dr. Mario, Sheik, and Yoshi, and I've been enjoying them a lot. Yeah, Dr. Mario just annihilates. If you get hit by his forward smash, goodbye at 50% mid stage.
Yeah,
it's
he
so
hits
good.
surprisingly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to not play the top tiers, just for like my public image, but really I just play whoever I find fun.
Pride.
So I at first I played Ike because I thought he was cool. And then because I liked him a bit in Smash 4, but he wasn't as good to Ultimate.
And
And
then
then I think after
MKLeo.
Ike, oh yeah, MKLeo. Then yeah, MKLeo was dominating with Ike. And then then after that I switched over to Pokemon Trainer, tried to challenge myself a bit, and then I also played a bit of Wario. Not my I'm already like contradicting myself because I'm playing top tiers now, and Wario was really gross because like you cheese by like literally farting on people, and that killed super early. Um, Now that I've like been in this like slump because I don't want to play online Smash, I've just been maining me brawler recently.
Ooh, yikes! I despise the Mii fighters.
Yeah,
I don't consider them as characters.
yeah, me neither. But they're just so fun, and plus people have not played against them ever, so like they don't know what to expect.
Yeah, that's the problem. So like it's the fact that you can come out as a Mii sword fighter and have a lot of different combinations, probably like thousands of combinations of abilities that, especially online, if you play against one of the Mii fighters, you usually need like 2 or 3 games to like get used to a new character. But since it's a Mii fighter and you only play people once or twice online, you just don't get used to them. You die, you don't get used to it, and then you switch to like the next person online. And it just is kind of cheap in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to definitely adapt to them for sure. I know like in tournament at least you have to tell your opponent what moves you're using beforehand.
Hmm.
But even then, you just telling them doesn't mean they know how to play against that certain
Exactly.
combination before.
Yeah. Yeah. I also gave Wario a try. He's fun. I never got too good with him. Um, yeah, I love his down tilt.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Felix? How did you start
Uh,
off?
so yeah, in Ultimate I played a lot of different characters, but right now the two I like the most and the ones I play the most are Meta Knight and Paramithra because well they were the DLC I wanted the most in the game, so now I'm
Okay,
pretty
that's
happy with
cool.
them in the game. And in Melee I play Marth and Roy. But Marth is
Hey,
obvious
my
pick,
sword
but
boys.
I also play Roy because he's very fun. He has a lot of cheese potential. He has like he can do some stupid things like down tilt connects directly into forward smash against most characters. He can also up B and one shot a Jigglypuff. Like he can actually one shot a Jigglypuff. That's very funny. And
At what percent?
at zero,
What? That's
there's
broken.
like the starting hitbox of a B for Roy. If you a B back, actually since does no damage at all, like only a few percents, but sends characters extremely high, and it can one shot Jigglypuff and Peach on platforms. That's like complete.
Counter the hungry box.
Yeah,
Dude,
Go
that's
Roy.
the sexiest thing is not it's not that cheesy, but like when you're playing Captain Falcon or Luigi or anyone who can like carry you upwards a lot, um,
yeah, like
and you're on the upper platform and you just do like up air, connect to up smash, and then just kill them at 20%.
yeah, and
So good, so good. I
Roy has
love it.
some pretty cool lore in Melee too. A good Roy can beat any fox after all. And there's like Zane is really good on him currently. I mean, Zane is just
Don't test me.
Zane is just so good, and there were some pretty good players like Sethlon, Lunchables, and there's this guy called Neo who was like the best Roy in history. He played during the era of Ken, and he's even though he played Roy, he was like in the top 10 at some point. So there was a Roy in the top 10 in Melee at some point, and that's pretty cool.
My God, I don't really know as much of the lore. And when you said era of Ken, I was like, wait, are we
It
talking
goes
about like
this
ancient
deep.
history right now?
Yeah,
Like-
it kind of is. It kind of is, but it's like the era where this Marth main, Ken, won absolutely everything and was just the god of the game until
Yep.
there were some other players like Mewtwo King and Mango came around.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? Who do you usually play?
Yeah, so I don't actually own a copy of Ultimate. So I don't really get to play any of the characters there that I kind of want to play. But I mostly just play as like either Martha or Lucina. I just kind of like feel like their moveset just makes sense to me the most out of all the
Mhm.
characters. So
Yeah.
I mainly play those two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very beginner friendly, or just a good way to get used to Smash.
And
Yeah,
they're
I've been
Marth
stuck
is
honestly
very
in
fun.
they are
for a
very
while.
fun and very
Yeah.
good in the game too, especially Lucina. So
Yeah. Besides Ice Climbers, every character is really fun to play.
I agree.
Besides Ice Climbers.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, that's what amazes me about Ultimate and why I think it's a great game. Every character has some fun stuff. Like
Yeah.
every single one of them is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like,
Um,
or sorry, when we were like all listing our mains or who we've played, like we've listed multiple, and I think this kind of goes to show that it's hard to stick with just one character out
Yeah.
of like 80.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it's really impressive. You three are gonna be living together, right?
That's
Next
right. I
semester.
can't wait to get destroyed in Smash.
Yeah, Nick, you won't have to have a copy. You guys will probably be playing all the time.
Yeah.
I'll force my way in. I'll just appear and just play Smash.
you have to beat 2 out of 4 of us to get in first.
I choose Nick and Tony.
No, wait, stop. That's cheating. Hold up.
No, if you beat them, you get to live with us.
Wait a minute.
Take their room.
The worst player leaves.
No. Thought we had an arrangement. What is this?
But yeah, I'm really excited to just go to campus and play against new people.
And I think Berkeley has, or the Bay Area in general, has a pretty active scene
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
both Melee and Ultimate, actually. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. I mean, not even for like competitive. If I don't have the time for competitive, which I probably won't, just
Yeah.
having a lot of people who can play at the same level as me is gonna
Mhm.
be very cool.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's the main problem of being in Panama. Is like if you're not in the competitive scene here, you probably will not be playing a lot of Smash with people that are your level. Because everyone is either just really bad because they never play the game, or just no. Yeah, that's pretty much the normal.
Wow, calling out
Nice.
Panama.
I would
Like
probably
either you're
fit
in the
in then.
competitive
Let's
scene or you
go.
don't play. That's like not too many people play Ultimate seriously here. But yeah, I can talk shit about Panama all I want because I'm pretty sure no Panamanians are gonna watch this cap episode.
You never know.
Number one in trending in Panama.
Wait, what controller do you use, Tomas?
You know what? I'm a weirdo. I use Joy-Cons.
You do? Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't disrespect, but like, how do you not have drift already?
Yeah.
Or do you play with drift?
I don't play enough. That's it. My Switch is a Smash machine. I don't play any other game on it. So I haven't played enough for it to develop drift. It got drift at one point, but somehow it just magically got fixed.
Yeah, that's the scariest one. Like drift comes out of nowhere and then like the next day it's just fine and you're like,
Yeah, it's
did that
because I
happen?
think I took a flight to maybe California or something, and going from the humid Panama to like the dry California somehow fixed it. Because honestly, it was just like instantly all the problems were gone. And then I came back and it stayed fixed.
That's the cure. You gotta fly from planet.
Go to a humid place and then go to a dry place.
Yeah.
Nintendo, I'm awaiting the $1 million check, please. But yeah, I'm comfortable playing with a Pro controller too. I have not used a GameCube controller in a while. So yeah, I don't know if it's been scientifically proven that you need to use that controller to be really good, but I've done just fine with what I have.
No, not at all. I think you could definitely use or I don't think controllers matters as much in Ultimate, at least, as opposed to Melee. Melee, definitely,
It's
that's part of I think Melee's problem. Controllers can be expensive and
eh,
they require a lot of.
yeah. I don't think it's possible to play melee with any other controller, especially considering the fact that you can't actually change controls in melee, so you have to stick to the basic ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of the stuff requires really weird grips sometimes for a lot of characters. So,
Like instead of grabbing like this, you have to grab like that.
yeah, yeah. I use a claw grip and can hurt the fingers, but yeah.
Yeah, at least I'm not a single Joy-Con user. Those are just scary. That's a different breed of human.
Single Joy-Con. Oh.
What if I were to tell you?
Oh no.
No, it's usually when like we're running out of controllers.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
so many
yeah.
of
Yeah,
us, and I'm like, I'll take the single Joy-Con controller.
One tier shed. I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
No, the main reason why I do it is because like I already know that I'm the worst there in terms of the group, and so like if I can blame it on the controller,
It's
well,
That's your
Smart
strat.
move,
Okay,
yeah.
fair.
this is the
Smart
big
move.
brain move, you see.
I actually don't own any other controllers, so I
Yeah.
attest me using Joy-Cons mostly to me not wanting to pay $60 for a controller.
Yeah, it's expensive,
fair.
man. Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I've been using a GameCube controller that I had since like Smash 4, and then since the Wii U GameCube adapter works on the Switch still, I didn't have to like buy anything else to add
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so as you guessed, I have the GameCube, and I bought this one. It's like the official Smash GameCube that they released with Smash Ultimate. So
Oh, that
Yeah.
okay.
Man, okay, going back to Sheik for a second, because I actually have just an image of him in the background. What do you guys think of him changing from being Zelda and Sheik to just Sheik?
I quite like the change.
Yeah.
They play very differently, but like not in a way that they complement each other, like Pyre and Mithra. So I think it is a good decision to split them.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the same.
It's usually just you play either Sheik or you play Zelda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, as a Sheik main, I enjoy having a down B. The flopping fish or whatever.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a fun move
It's
too.
fun. Yeah.
It's a very fun move.
There's this one YouTuber competitive player who's called GSM Void. I
Yeah,
think his
Void.
name
Oh
is.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
the
used to play
boy.
Pichu, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he used to play Pichu. Now he only plays Sheik, pretty much. And just watching him take people to the bottom left corner of the screen and then doing the down B to just kill them. Oh my god, I want to be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Void is
the combo strings are pretty crazy on Sheik. Too bad they do
Yeah.
like 10%, but
Yeah.
that's another problem.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Void's
do want a slight buff for Sheik because just once you get to high percents, it's hard to kill.
She has
'Cause-
like some cool setups with like neutral B, right? in the air, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, she does for sure. But a lot of these strings are, or at least like the bread and butter combos are all like from low percents.
Yeah.
So since once you're at 70, you just get knocked back a bit too far
Mm.
that you can't connect a lot of the things. So then you end up having to just smash attack or aerials. It's mostly back air what kills and up air what kills. Um, his only really good killing move, and it's a pretty hard one to do. I'm still struggling with it a bit. Is up air drag down into up smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
A
iconic.
a lot
That's
of characters use that, I feel. The
yeah.
mechanics of the game, yeah.
The
Joker, for
the
example.
difference with Sheik is that I think with who else has a drag down?
A Joker,
I
right?
think
Joker,
yeah, Joker
Thunder
has a drag
Greninja.
down, but
Pikachu
I'm
has a drag down.
yeah, okay, yeah, Pikachu. With Pikachu's is it's using his Nair. So it's really easy to do the drag down, I feel like. But since Sheik's drag down is with up the up air,
Yeah,
it's
the
really
hitbox.
hard to move the
Oh.
stick up and down at like the right timing to do the proper drag down and then combo into the up smash.
Mhm.
You could
So
use like
I've been struggling with that, but like when you hit it, oh baby, really nice.
you could, or do you use C stick for aerials?
I
'Cause-
use no, for aerials I use the normal A to the side. For tilts I
Gotcha.
use C stick though.
Yeah, because or I mean, I think you could or you can
Probably
use C
yeah.
sticks in the air to like for an aerial, so you could C stick up for up air and then drag down with the.
You know what? I haven't even thought about that. Thanks, Mitch. I'll
Yeah,
try that out.
I'll be your coach.
Yes.
So, moving on, we can talk a bit about the pro scene. Do you guys have like any pro players that you like to follow or watch?
I love Mars and his Zero Suit Samus.
Yeah, Samus is smooth in Zero Suit Samus is real smooth in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mars. So
And like I just
he's an
mentioned, Void.
interesting guy. Yeah, Void. Void. His playing is a work of art in Smash Four. Back when Sheik was actually relevant, he was like a monster at that character.
Yeah. I started following him recently, semi recently. He's the one who made me want to play Sheik. Um so yeah, I man, he plays well. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's hard to convey like the different play styles unless you kind of understand the fundamentals of the game and then watch them play. Because they all play so different, and obviously all the characters that they main are also very fundamentally different. So watching the combos that Void can string together just on a whim, drag them off to the corner of the screen and do like what I said, using the downbeat to just kill them, even though that leaves him completely vulnerable and not being able to get back on stage. Like it's just insane.
Yeah, another. I think a pro player that kind of influenced who I like to play was a bit of Tweak. I was kind of inspired by his Wario and Pokemon Trainer, hence why I picked them up in the first place, because he's just really good at the game.
Yeah, yeah. Tweak is pretty impressive. His Wario plays, yeah, quite nice. Um, man, who did Tweak? Did Tweak play 2 years ago in like the main tournament that I think Nintendo was hosting? I think so, right?
He was like, yeah, he was one of the best. He was especially good in the first few years of Ultimate, right? He
Yeah,
had
he's
some
Yeah,
really high placements.
definitely top 5, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
top 3.
That's when I remember him playing. I haven't seen much of him recently, probably because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
because
yeah, go ahead.
because they're having a Smash World Tour, but sadly the qualifiers are online, so not all of everyone's favorites are qualifying because online is
Yeah,
just a different game altogether.
yeah. you either play Sonic or you play a me character, uh, or that's it.
Any of
Yeah.
the links.
Any of the links, you're right. Yeah,
There have been some snakes in online, I guess.
Oh gosh.
it's just that the projectile characters. If it's always projectile characters, it's very lame. It's kind of like the Hunger Box issue where the game is too slow, and not too enjoyable to watch. I say the Hungry Box issue. That's I don't really care about, but what other people say.
Yeah, so speaking of Hungry Bucks, he's currently probably my favorite player in Melee. I really like watching him. He also has had some really incredible runs in the past,
Hmm.
like the Evo reset against Armada, which we all remember. In Ultimate, I like Cosmos, who's like one of the best Inklings in the world. He also plays Corin, and I think he's picking up Pyren Mithra, so that's pretty cool. And there's also he's retired now. He doesn't play anymore. I think he does some casting, but the one player who got me into Smash Melee in the first place, that might seem weird, but it's Wobbles, the Ice Climber
Oh
player,
no.
because Ice Climbers is a lame character, but like he was capable of doing some really impressive stuff with the character. Just looking at compilations of him, he can go way further than just a simple wobble. And there was also his run second place at Evo 2013, which was really cool. So yeah.
What is your stance on wobbling?
Um, yeah, it's uh,
Is that the
I,
chain grab?
yeah, the free chain grab that can kill at any percent for
Hmm.
Ice Climber. I don't think it's we should ban a mechanic like that in a game, just because it's just using the character's tools in a certain way. So banning that would at this point we would just wonder to what extent do we ban like uh, the Ice Climber stuff where you can do uh, where I'm not sure how they're called, but oh yeah, handoffs or stuff like that. To what how much do we ban? So I just don't think we should ban this kind of stuff, but it is pretty lame. But yeah, we have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You can
'Cause-
leave it to people's pride to use or not to use it.
Yeah.
I think with a move like that, I don't know. For the most part, I feel like competitive Smash players, probably wouldn't overuse it too much because then they'll just be seen like the public enemy, just every game using the wobble.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just like banning something that is just something that comes from the tools of a certain characters doesn't seem right to me. Like some things make sense, like banning, camping at the ledge, just re-grabbing ledge too many times in Smash Melee just because of the invincibility that it
mhm.
gives. That can, and that's something that exists for basically every character. So that makes sense to me. But just banning something inherent to the mechanics of a character, I don't know. I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think people are against wobbling because it's not hype and they think it's overpowered, but there is like counterplay to wobbling other than, I mean, which kind of boils down to just don't get grabbed in a way.
I mean, yeah, which creates a new kind of play style, which could be
Yeah,
interesting.
I think I mean, melee is not a balanced game at all. I think that's even part of the appeal of the game. But just having to completely change your playstyle according to certain matchups, even if they're lame, that's what makes the game still relevant, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty much it for
I think
Smash.
we've covered a lot.
Do we want to talk, I guess, the future Smash after these last two DLC characters? Do we have any idea where it could go next? Or
Yeah, because once these characters are released, I don't know if they'll announce more DLC, but like,
Hey,
Yeah,
Don't think so.
I don't think so either. So
Yeah.
are we going to have like a few years before the next Smash game, or
I
I
honestly,
don't think, honestly, we have so many characters. We don't really need a
yeah, we don't.
new
That's
Smash
for
game.
sure.
yeah, we really don't.
Hmm.
And the
The main,
game
yeah.
is well balanced. We have a shit ton of stages.
Mhm.
If you want to play competitive, you got a lot of uh different or like every single character is valid. There's a lot of different stages which are viable. Um, the only thing that really needs fixing, like I mentioned before, is the online.
Online, yeah.
And like Felix, you
That's
mentioned.
if they fix online, it can really be a pretty amazing game
Yeah.
on
Hmm.
every regard. So
I feel like in the future they can just maybe port the game, maybe change a few skins. Like instead of Link having the Breath of the Wild skin from the original Breath of the Wild, they might want to, I don't know, choose Link from Twilight Princess, or Mario having maybe Cappy instead of the normal red hat or something like that. But
Well,
like,
yeah, but if they're gonna change the default skin, like I don't think that they're gonna do that for a port. They're probably gonna do that for like a new game, because that's what they normally do, don't they?
yeah, but what I'm saying is like everything is so well made that why even make a new
Yeah.
game?
Yeah,
You can make
like
an HD version if like we get to 4K and this game is just
Gotcha.
1080p. You can just upscale everything, make the new textures, and then when you make the new textures, you would change the skins. That's maybe what's gonna happen. Because like honestly, in my opinion, Ultimate is the perfect game besides Ice Climbers and and online.
Oh,
Besides
yeah.
Ice
I mean,
Climbers.
but like in general, a game like Smash at some point doesn't really need much apart from the community just finding more stuff for every character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or making events, or gonna having live streams and stuff. Having
Well,
activity from the community is ultimately what matters the most at some point.
right. And
What
like,
Nintendo could do, apart from of course fixing
mhm,
online, is actually showing interest and care in the competitive scene.
exactly. Yeah.
They really don't like it.
They
I'm
really,
convinced that they don't care, but man,
yeah. And the other thing related to Nintendo is like when they release their next console, which is probably going to be far off because
yeah,
the Pro in my mind is still going to be
they
Switch.
have some big plans with this.
Okay, and next console like after the Pro.
Like after the Pro, after like anything related to the Switch like identity, that's when I think they might think about making a sequel or something
Yeah.
new. Yeah.
yeah, but like, how do you top Smash Bros. Ultimate? Like, don't you like people might expect would expect, I guess, even more content. Like, if
Yeah.
they release a new Smash game with like half the size of the roster, I don't think people would
I
be
mean,
too
they
happy.
can't just keep expanding the roster. I
Yes, the
think
Yeah.
thing.
when
It's
it
Yeah.
reaches like
ridiculous. Yeah.
100 characters, there's going to be problems. They can't just do this for each game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I
Also,
think Ultimate is the
oh,
final iteration. Because you can't go
Maybe,
mhm.
down.
maybe
You
they
can't go
can.
down. That makes no sense.
I mean, maybe
Um,
they can go for like Dragon Ball Fighter Z and go for like squads of 3 in or something. But I don't think that would work with. I don't know how it would work with Smash, but just change the format of the fights.
Yeah. Some kind of like change to Smash itself
Yeah, the
that like
mechanics.
functions
Yeah.
differently.
yeah, it
And
also
then, yeah.
depends on if Sakurai wants to keep working on it, and if he
Yeah.
doesn't, will Nintendo keep making Smash without him?
Well, they probably
Yeah.
will. I think they will
That's true.
actually.
it just makes too much money. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
it's just too much money. But that's also why the next Smash could be something completely different from the Smash that we know today. It could be something that a new team with a new vision uh could make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could rehash if they want the money, they could make an H4K remake later in the line,
Mhm.
cost $60, and then add DLC to that, and then reach 100, something like that eventually, and then stop it there. If they want purely the money, that would makes sense. And then they've consistently made money from Smash since it released.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they need a like revenue source from a Smash game at all times. They could just have a new game come out and like make a few $1 million in its stead or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to improve on Smash now, just because of what we all mentioned before. Like, it's balanced. It has every character. You don't really need too much more DLC.
Yeah, it's
And-
just they shouldn't try to do the same formula but better.
Yeah.
Just like do different and
Do
make
something
different
different.
iterations while keeping Ultimate relevant.
I mean, it's literally called Ultimate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
What are you gonna call it next? Like Ultimate Deluxe and Dante?
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Exactly.
or they can do like any Western company and make a mobile game.
Oh my
That would
god.
be
I don't see that. I
yeah.
don't
No,
see
they,
that.
they're not doing this.
They
Hopefully.
wouldn't call it Smash. They call it something else though. Yeah.
A next DLC could be like continuation to the story mode.
Yes, just release like content for story mode, maybe new music, new stages.
Yeah.
There's a lot to add apart from simply characters. So Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely can't imagine a new Smash game. I feel like they should just milk Ultimate, like port it over to the next console or whatever. Or to
Make
just
people pay
Pro.
for it.
and
Yeah,
add
they can
like
pay 'em
single
for it
player,
again.
single player
Yeah.
modes or other
Yeah.
things.
Just kinda
As soon
build off
as the
of
Pro
Ultimate's
comes
engine.
out and like they don't allow you to use, like if you have the digital copy on the Switch, which I do, you're probably going to be forced to buy a new copy for the Pro. So that'll make a lot of money.
Mm, I don't know.
Would it? Because I feel like the Pro is gonna be backwards compatible.
Yeah,
With
I think
digital
It kind of
gaming?
has to be. Yeah.
yeah.
With the physical, yeah.
It's if
Oh,
you buy
right.
digital,
You're
then
talking about digital.
digital,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Or it might be if it's they're still keeping it connected to your like Nintendo account or whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
let you
Yeah, I
too.
think you can download it without rebuying it if it's
Mhm.
with your Nintendo account.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
money
so
is
that's why
saved.
like another console that's past the Pro is probably going to be when we kind of have to like revisit Smash and figure out what is going on. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I also feel like the Switch is the perfect console as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the format of the console is great. There's just like Joy-Con drift or performance
Yeah, they have
issues.
major issues, but like the idea behind it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
ID, the
conceptually
format,
it's hard to top.
And it makes perfect sense for Nintendo. They don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
compete
it.
with PlayStation or Xbox, which are home consoles.
Mhm.
It's really made for Nintendo, this kind of console.
Yeah. You would buy a Switch and a home console.
Mhm.
You wouldn't make a choice between the three and stick with. I mean, yeah, you would if you have like if you don't have enough money to buy
Yeah.
two consoles. Obviously you make one choice. But if you have enough money, you would buy
A
a
Switch and then
PlayStation or an
something
Xbox
else. Yeah.
and a Switch.
Yeah, it's kind of just a different field from their competitors
Yeah.
altogether. So
Which is why like the console in the future just yeah, I mean they can do it. It needs to be very different though.
Yeah, and I feel like they're also going to keep maybe porting a few games from like the DS or the Wii to the Switch progressively and
Yeah.
make it like the final console or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I'm sure their development team over or like their research and development like sector or whatever in Nintendo are trying to figure out a way to make a new console other than Switch though. So who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, I'm sure they're working on something. It's just impossible to see what it could be. Yeah.
I have one final prediction for like a dongle for the Switch where you can make it into a
Okay.
Wii U. So you
Oh,
put
like
like
a
a
pad?
Bluetooth dongle that connects to your TV. It acts as the main screen, and then the Switch in your hands is like the secondary screen. Because then you can port over all the Wii U games, and you can port over the DS games. You have the
Ooh.
main TV screen in front of you as the top screen, and then the pad as the secondary screen.
Yeah, we already have pretty much all the Wii U games though. So the main thing is like the DS
Xenoblade
games,
X.
You
except for
can
Xenoblade X.
a main problem. I think that is true, but I think I remember hearing that it was difficult porting over maybe the Wind Waker. No, that makes no sense.
Yeah,
Well,
Maybe,
even
yeah,
besides
maybe
ports,
not.
it opens up the idea of having dual screens again.
yeah, dual
Yeah.
For newer
screens.
games.
Yeah, except you have to have a TV in order to use the dual screen. In that case,
yeah, which you would have. Like, who doesn't have a TV? Nowadays, you can buy a 50-inch TV for $300,
Mm,
or you could buy like I'm
You just
pretty
use a
sure
monitor.
everyone has a TV. That's with big quotes. I don't mean that quite
Yeah.
literally, but
yeah. Everyone who would get a Switch probably has
Yeah.
a TV. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it working, sure, but I don't know if it's gonna be a big deal because it'd probably just be like we can port DS games now,
Yeah.
kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
if you want a DS game, makes sense.
there's like so many DS games that they could port. I almost feel like the DS or the 3DS are still relevant just because of the insane amount of games
hmm
that are
Yeah.
on those.
And they do need a dual screen with a touchpad on the bottom screen. Which, guess what? That's literally the Switch.
Yeah,
Just
that's
you don't have the stylus. So
Yeah, we're finally
Phantom
getting.
Hourglass on the Switch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they need to find some way to introduce a stylus if they're going
Yeah.
to.
I mean,
They
you
can
can
make a
just sell a
$60
stylus.
stylus. Custom made for Switch.
Because it has a touchscreen already. You just need to sell a plastic stick for $10.
Well,
All right. I think that's been what, 3 hours?
Yep,
Two and
3
a half
hours.
hours.
Very productive discussion.
Yep,
Yeah.
this E3 is going to be exciting, especially.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the E3.
Yeah.
Bethesda and Nintendo are definitely my top two.
Yeah,
And
Bethesda,
Microsoft,
Nintendo,
I guess.
yeah.
Square Enix.
I'm for sure going to watch the Nintendo one. The others, I don't really expect anything
Yeah.
special, but there can be some cool info for some stuff.
I'll
sure.
watch them all because like
Yeah.
I have actually. Oh, damn it! I think I have to work. Wait,
Oh,
when
no.
does it start? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday,
Oh
Monday,
yeah,
Tuesday.
I'll have to watch them like after they come out.
Yeah, they all start at like 8 a.m., 9
Yeah.
a.m., something like that.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
well.
but I'll probably watch most of them just because each one will probably have at least one game I'm interested in.
Yeah. And just something
Yeah.
interesting to like hear about, even if we're like not interested in it ourselves or like personally. Yeah.
Yeah, and post pandemic, I just feel like a lot of these companies have a lot to announce that they weren't
Yeah.
able to announce beforehand. The
Mhm.
last major game that I really care about that hasn't had any announcements is the Silk Song game, the Hollow Knight sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but they already announced that they're not gonna have anything in E3, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but everything else, yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot we didn't talk about Elden Ring, but I'm pretty sure they confirmed that they're not going to be there for that game. I know that there's like 3 games that confirmed that they're not going to E3, which was Silk Song and like 2 others. Don't remember the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm quite excited.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just like watch it together on Discord.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, sadly, won't be
You
able
can't.
to.
Yeah, you
attend.
can't watch it live.
On Saturday
unfortunately.
and Sunday. I can.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. We'll be there to see what is gonna be happening. I kind of
So-
do also want to like stream during it, but I don't know if I have any co-hosts that want to be interested in like commentating or something.
Tony, I bet, would probably be interested.
Yeah, but the problem is he doesn't really like games. So I'm like,
I don't know what he likes.
Boxing.
He likes boxing, yeah. So other than
And
like
not anime. He does not like
he
anime.
does not like anime, yeah. It's very
No
unfortunate.
anime.
Well, I think we've reached the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anything to plug?
Well, we do have a new Khonshu always coming out. Always coming out every month, every something soon. Just keep an eye out for it. Depends on like when this episode's coming out, which hopefully is right before E3. So we'll have a summer issue specifically to look forward to. And subscribe to this channel. Other than that, yeah. Thanks for coming, you guys. And I think we are done for today. See you.
Yeah.